Pound.
In a world,
Shut the hell up.
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
What's the deal, Panther fans? It's the C3 Panthers Podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Tonight's show, will the Carolina Panthers rebound as injuries abound? And when we talk about injuries, the greatest strength of this Carolina Panther team, the offensive line, took a detrimental and maybe season-ending blow as Austin Corbett is out for the season. Taylor Moton is week to week. And now we got Brady Christiansen starting at center. Ninjman going in there and playing right tackle for right now. And the one strength that we had right now is back to probably being a liability for the Carolina Panthers, as even Dave Canales said we got to protect Andy Dalton with these offensive line injuries and put in Bryce Young. Backtrack on the comments a little bit. We'll talk about that tonight. Plus some new signings for the Carolina Panthers as they try to salvage what they can this season. And they're heading to Atlanta, or are they heading? Is Atlanta heading to us? Either way, we're playing the Atlanta Falcons, and the Carolina Panthers are 6.5-point dogs. And I almost think that that's generous at this point right now.
Yeah.
You're listening to the longest running Panthers podcast. It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m. And every week, I chop it up with my wheelman, Cody Lack.
Tony Dunn, listen, man, nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than sitting here with my boys talking Panther football. And we have a ton to talk about, man. Chuba is indeed a top 5 running back in the NFL. Is Trevin Wallace the answer to our linebacker prayers? Do we have too many South Carolina players on the roster? And thereby we went to got a Clemson player to finally give us some pass rush? Tony Dunn, we're going to answer all these questions and more, and talk about Austin Corbett being out for the second year in a row for the season. A ton to talk about, but you know we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You know I'm going to love him. It's AJ Brooks, our boy Anthony, the brand ambassador of Diesel Skills, C3 Doug, C3 Jake the Snake F. What's up, Jake? Kyle from Charlotte Sports 1, Daniel Berry Sports, Final Boss, Jorge Marcelo, Justin K, Kenneth, Kristen Butler. What's up, Kristen? Paisan, Muscles Marinara, Nick Gaskins, Roosevelt Mongo, Rock Jones, The Real AP, Tim Estes, and your bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We'd love to get your thoughts on the Carolina Panthers, how bad these injuries are, as so many people continue to get hurt or have been hurt, and how this Carolina Panthers defense can be any good, or even, I wouldn't even say that. How can this Panther team play from week to week with nobody on defense, it feels like? And Trevin Wallace, the answer to the questions, the most tackles in a game since Luke Kuechly. Didn't even know it was 4th down when he got a 4th-and-1 stop. CK, welcome back to the podcast.
Man, happy to be here. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, I think we all feel a bit fatigued by the fact that it just feels like the Panthers have the worst luck on the planet when it comes to injuries. When we have something good, it gets ripped from us. And it just feels hard to remain excited about a team when every time you do feel positive, things get ripped from you in some of the most heartbreaking fashion. And for me, it's just this Austin Corbett situation just is tough because, you see a guy who's fought back from 2 season-ending injuries 2 years in a row. He's put his sweat and tears in this team. He has played at a high level pretty much at any position that he's been in at this point in time. and quite honestly was one of the best centers in the league up to this point. And to have this hit with him being out for the season, it's tough, man. It's tough to be a Panthers fan when you have all this, this difficult, injury history. And I would say probably one of the worst in the NFL when you look at the IR and the people that are starters right now. I think we have like 8 legit starters on IR, and that's a tough pill to swallow.
Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, consider becoming a C3 superfan for $1.99. Co-pays are welcome. We have a therapy couch for you each and every week. And after the games on Sunday and Friday is group therapy for the Friday free-for-all. You guys can come hang out with us. Cody Lack, let's go ahead and jump into this show.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Will the Panthers rebound as injuries abound is the title for tonight's show. And, of course, we're leading off with the big news that CK was just speaking of. Austin Corbett, for the second year in a row, is out with the season-ending injury. And
Third.
he did, third? Yeah, I guess so. Third, huh? Damn.
I think he had one in when he was with the Rams, right? Are you counting that one, CK?
Well,
No, he had he and Brady
Wilkes was here.
Christiansen got injured,
Injured at the same
towards the
time.
end of the season when Wilkes was the coach. And then he got injured only like 5 games into the season last year as well.
Yeah.
And he was out. And then he might have got injured even like a little bit sooner than I think he was injured towards the end of the season, but it still was a season-ending injury for 3 years ago, and so this is the third season in a row.
4 then, if you count the Rams when we got him off of.
Yeah, because he was coming off, was he coming off of a big injury then too? Yeah,
he had something. I don't know if it was a bicep or.
Well, I know he won the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yeah,
he was with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl.
He was injured. There was some sort of injury that he had that he was rehabbing from when we signed him.
Yeah. But yeah, this indeed happened. The Panthers had their fair share. But in a league where attrition rules today, the Panthers had their fair share. In just the first 5 weeks of the season, the club took another hit on Sunday, losing center Austin Corbett with the torn bicep for the year. Dave Canales told reporters on Monday that Corbett will have surgery soon. And Brady Christiansen will step in at center. Just another blow, but the guy that just stands for everything that I believe in. Canales said of Austin Corbett on Monday, the work ethic, the practice habits, the professionalism, his positive outlook in terms of what he can be on the next drive, just continuing to work, and control the things he can control. So definitely my heart is with Austin. Corbett is not the only offensive lineman to experience a setback in Sunday's loss, as tackle Taylor Moton will be week to week with a tricep injury, and he will not be playing against the Atlanta Falcons this week. And in his stead, tackle Josh Nijman is going to be replacing him against the Falcons. Boys, this is sort of 2-tier. One, what do we think of losing Austin Corbett for the season? And number 2, who do you have more faith in right now going forward to be able to hold down their position? Christensen or Nijman or however I'm mispronouncing that name. What do we think about these injuries, and can the O-line maintain consistency with 2 big starters not playing?
I think the answer is no.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think if they can continue, if they can not be a liability, I think that's a win right out the gate. I mean, we like Brady Christiansen a lot throughout what he's done, and he's kind of been a jack of all trades, master of none, or at least he stepped in and had to play every single position. So he's learned another position group. Thankfully that I don't know, he was one of the center, but he was the 3rd center in training camp. I feel like I don't even feel like he was the 2nd one. Remember, they wanted him to play at tackle at backup. So I think this is devastating. Austin Corbett, not only was he playing this position where there were a lot of concerns about him going into the season from a lot of Panther fans, just from the lack of experience he's had.
Right.
But boy, you said it earlier, CK, this guy has been a boss at this position through the first 5 weeks. And really, it feels like this is that the strength in the center of the line, which has given us the ability to run the ball, effectively with Chuba Hubbard has in many ways negated some of our weaknesses at tackle position and somehow. And now I just wonder if you're going to kind of see some of those problems, pop up more and more.
CK, what say you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you are going to see more of those problems as we go, because that's one of the things that I think is so required for this offense, is to have that middle shored up, and to not have that done. We're kind of in a similar spot to where we've been in the past few years, really. I'm just tired of the constant, the constant lack of consistency when it comes to our offensive line. And it just seems like we're still just going back to the same places that we've been in years past. When we finally taken a step in the right direction, we're back to where we were. And I know we still have Hunt and we still have Lewis, but having Moton and having Austin Corbett out, it's a blow, and it's hard to be positive about what you see so far.
So listen,
the second part of the question was the Ninjaman versus Corbett part, right?
Is he going to be the center, or is he's going to be the right tackle? Right,
is going to be the right. Like, who's the? I think
you mean Christensen.
Yeah, Christiansen. Who's the bigger concern? I just gotta say both.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like
put some respect on Christensen. Why don't you?
I mean, I'm fine with Christensen kind of stepping in, but I think we're gonna fall back into some of the things we saw, last year with there being some pressure, especially with Moton being out. I know people, especially Pickle, want to give people, Moton some grief, but he's been the most consistent person on our entire offensive line for years. And to say he's anything other than a good right tackle is anything. It's just, at that point in time, you're just, picking fights to have a fight.
Please tell me this is David Newton.
No, this is not. This is from a BYU. This is from a BYU.
Oh, okay. I was that's right. They both went to BYU.
They're showcasing all of the BYU players that are in the NFL. But listen, man, I'm not about to come up here and change my tune. I have said forever that Brady Christiansen is a starting caliber offensive lineman. It is my belief that he should have been given a chance at left tackle way back in his rookie year. But listen, he is a Swiss Army knife of an offensive lineman. Do you need a guard? Put Brady Christiansen in. Do you need a tackle? Put Brady Christiansen in. And now we need a center, and we're going to put Brady Christiansen in. And if you remember, I predicted before the season started that one way or another, Christiansen would be starting on this offensive line this year. And also remember, this is his last season before he's going to get paid by some team somewhere, be it us or someone else. So really, it's a huge opportunity for Brady to step in and show that he should be a continued part of this offensive line going forward. I think if we're able to consistently run the ball with Chuba Hubbard behind Brady Christiansen, that might say something well about his potential to be here in the future still. So I'm pumped. I think that he'll play all right. I think that he played okay in his few snaps that he did play last week. So, I don't know what else to say, man. I'm a big Brady Christiansen believer, and I think he's going to be okay.
I don't know if you added this into the show. Do you have the full list of the injuries on the show anywhere in it? Because I saw this tweet. I got it pulled up. If you don't, I didn't put it in there.
I do have it, but it's in the Atlanta section. Hang on.
When you see how long the list is, it's insane.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Now I don't want anybody to take this in any context to suggest that the Carolina Panthers were on their way to winning a Super Bowl or even being good, but teams are already struggling, as it is when it comes to throughout the year fighting to try to make the playoffs. Yeah. In 2015, we were healthy. Really, is like the offensive line made it through the entire season healthy. The one injury we had, we immediately went and traded for Jared Allen, and it was one of our, I don't think it was Charles. Was it Charles Johnson? No, Charles Johnson was healthy. one of our pass rushers got hurt that year, and we immediately went out and got Jared Allen. And the problem with the Carolina, I mean, how do you win or how do you even play from week to week when you have this many?
Yeah, so right now that list consists of Andrew Rynham, Josie Jewell, Xavier Legette is questionable, although he said that he thinks he's going to play. Austin Corbett, we know his injury. Tommy Tremble is questionable. And Jadeveon Clowney is questionable, man. Dude.
No, oh, check out this one. I'm going to show you this list right here, and this one will make you feel. Where I put it at? Here we go. All right. Let's present. Damn, too many windows, bro. Too many windows. Present this. Look at this. When you see it this way, it is pretty dang
embarrassing.
Depressing.
God damn.
Legette, Thielen, Tremble, Thomas, Corbett, Moten, Jewell, Clowney, Fuller, Jackson, Brown, Thompson, Franklin, Wanham, Barna. I mean, this is
dude. How are we supposed to do anything? I mean, really, like those types of injuries this early in the season, and it's not like we've been playing in nothing but Bank of America Stadium. So yeah, the turf is terrible in the bank, but it's not like you can blame that on everything, you know.
No.
I don't know, man, what is this? And it feels like every year we're dealing with this. We're wondering, is it the strength and conditioning staff? Are they over words? Like, I don't understand. Is it improper?
It's bad luck,
training?
dude.
I mean, it's at this point in time, it's hard not to look at this team and feel like it's cursed. But I talked about it on Sunday. I think that this is also correlating with the age of our team. When you see the injuries, a lot of them are veteran guys. You know, you look at Shaq, you look at Adam Thielen, you look at Taylor Moten now. I mean, you're talking about we have the highest average age of a team in the NFL, which doesn't feel that way because we don't feel like we're a complete team. But Jadeveon Clowney, you're talking about the oldest team in the NFL on average. And I think that these injuries kind of stand out when you look at some of the biggest ones. And you're like I said, I mean, I just the four major ones I think I would point out is going to be Shaq and Thielen and Clowney and there was a fourth one that's a contributor on this team that I mean, I wouldn't say Josie Jewell is old.
Fuller,
yeah. So, I mean, we have some older players on this team just not really able to contribute because they've now been injured. And they're great for leadership, but Brown isn't an older player. He's just now into his fifth year. So, Brown is, we have plenty of younger players still hurt. Don't get me wrong, but I am saying that when you look at the age of this team and the people who bring that average age up, it's no surprise when you see them on the injury report this week.
Let's do the super chat. Angel Investor Nervosh here comes up and says, we wanted a center in the draft. Corbett is injured 3 years in a row. Whole team has a lot of injuries. Is it trainers, medical staff, or bad luck? It's happening every freaking year.
It really is, man. And that's why I'm like, I don't believe in coincidences, Tony. Like, why is there such a commonality every year that we are so consistently banged up? I mean, the last 3 years in a row, by the time we got to the middle of the season, we were talking about how injured and banged up we've been. So it's like, what is this? Like, do we just start saying cursed? We're cursed. It's bad luck. Is it because Bank of America Stadium is built on an old hospital?
Don't you think like all teams say this though? And it's like all teams are facing crazy injuries. I'm sure the Jets fans said that last year as soon as Aaron Rodgers went down. One of the people in the chat put that this is all started happening since we went away from the grass.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely
Fuller is 26, so he's not old.
Definitely a part of the conversation.
No way that dude is.
Who?
Fuller's 26. I felt like he's been in the league.
Everybody's old. Every player is old, younger than all of us. But whatever, dude. My whole thing is that at a certain point, when it becomes a commonality like that, there's something to it. And again, I don't follow every team that close, so I don't know how many other injuries that other teams are normally dealing with. but it's obvious that there's something wrong with the way we're doing business. Jadeveon Clowney was not hurt last year for the Baltimore Ravens, and now he is. It's like, how many times is this going to keep on happening, man? Like, we're lucky that it hasn't been one of our, one of our receivers like Deontay Johnson. Because
Well,
if
it is
that
Xavier
happens,
Leggett.
yeah,
and
but
Adam
I do
Thielen.
believe he's probably going to play, though.
Yeah, I mean, he is, but
Soldier
I mean,
Field has real grass, though, does it?
yeah,
don't
but
think so.
I mean, there is the argument, and I think Kev was making it in the chat, is that, when you're playing on the turf more than, that can wear you down or what have you. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. You see, Leggett hurt his AC joint because he landed on his shoulder. That wasn't like something that he had happen in the weeks prior. He wasn't tackled and landing on that shoulder and what have you. And to say that the torn pec or the torn bicep for Austin Corbett has anything to do with turf, that would be a reach. Like,
Yeah.
the turf it's an easy connection for people to
agree.
make. But when you look at it, we're like, the majority of the injuries have not been turf related, like, at all. Like, I could say you could make that argument if you're talking about,
Brown, Shaq.
like the Shaq situation potentially, but it's outside of that, I really don't think that the majority of the injuries we see are going to be related to turf.
I think it's bad luck. I think we got to get the sage out. I mean, I know you don't believe in coincidence. Bad teams get injured. I don't know what it is. It's
We
like,
need to hire a witch doctor to come with some
Think so.
sage and
I think so. But
cleanse the practice fields.
I'm with CK about the coincidence or it's convenient. It's kind of like blaming David Tepper for everything. It's just, but hey, is the Panthers were struggling. They were going to struggle to be competitive. Regardless, and the injuries are not this process.
I want to throw this out there. If there was an honest correlation, I know that players say that they don't like turf, but if there was a legitimate correlation between turf and injuries, the NFL wants the best product on the field possible. Yeah. They are not going to let turf be the reason that players are not on the field. If turf was the reason that people are getting hurt, it would not be in the game. Like this idea that they prefer turf because there's some value to the team. If that is legitimately an issue from a health perspective, I promise you the NFL is not going to put them in a position where they're going to have players off of the field. Like, they're just not.
I don't know if I agree, CK.
What would be the value to the NFL to do that? Because they have to pay, all these owners have to pay their salaries while they're injured with not being on the field whatsoever.
Sure, but you also look at the David Tepper situation with the turf being so easily replaceable. It allows them to do concerts and all this other shit. And really, the NFL isn't going to tell each individual owner what they can and can't do with the turf.
They can.
It's also a lot cheaper. It's easier to maintain. And, I think that it's hard to deny when you hear player after player on teams all around the NFL tell everyone that, dude, it's like being tackled on pavement. And it's just, I really do think this is one of those things where the bottom line is going to trump over everything with a lot of these owners, and they're just going to continue to cheapskate and go with the turf. Now, I do think it becomes a little bit too much of a scapegoat, but time and time again, you see these non-contact injuries that are happening on turf. And to me, I think there is a correlation between those two things. You're right.
I'm with CK on this. Is that, like, imagine paying somebody $250 million guaranteed and them throwing them out there to something that you think could be a risk to that investment.
Right. I mean,
in soccer, they make them. I mean, maybe the NFL, if that's the case, if it truly is that bad, the NFLPA needs to start
that's
making
what
that
I'm saying. If that is such a major issue, then that needs to be a priority for the NFLPA, like 100%. And if it's not, that tells me that it's not as important of a subject for these players that we all want to make it out to be. We've heard a few comments that people make about it. That's it. We've heard a few issues, but we have not heard like the overwhelming majority of people come out and say publicly they don't like the turf. Like, it's, yes, people might not, but if it was that big of a deal to these players, it would be a priority with the NFLPA. Like, It wouldn't be I want to be able to smoke pot. It would be I need to not get tackled on pavement. Right, that would be the issue that they would be raising to the powers that be at their union.
I feel you. What do we got next?
So this is some of the moves that we have made since the injuries. So we have added O-line depth. We have called Cade Mays up from the practice squad, and outside linebackers Thomas Incombe. Again, not much of a help to this roster, I think, but just something to, we have to fill out that 53-man roster, and we're decimated right now. Another thing that I felt that we needed to dwell on a little bit is the performance of Chuba Hubbard. But before we do, Nirvash with the $10.
Angel investor. Y'all need to help this man. He's out here single-handedly funding the C3 Panthers podcast. Thank you so much, Nirvash. You are an angel investor. Get up in there with him.
He has for a long time, too. Shout out to Nirvash with the $10 C3 bomb. Says, I'm really wondering how many years of losing fans can take with this franchise. We don't have the legacy of older teams that have fans to stick with them forever, no matter how bad they are.
This is a scary, scary point for this podcast, number one.
Well, it's something we see,
happening
actively right now. I mean,
I agree.
We had years where we were consistently on a Tuesday night, 250, 300 people watching, and here we are on YouTube, less than 100. I mean, listen, it's not all about that, but it's a clear pattern that shows that we're getting to a point where the franchise itself cannot afford to continue to have a losing streak, because they were going to be in a situation that the Jaguars were in, where they're like literally losing money to be an organization in the NFL.
Somebody in the chat brought it up earlier, and that is like, why, like, is there a reason to watch the team for the rest of the season? And it was just, and it's sad when you get to that point. This is a conversation we have had on this podcast for
absolutely
many years, because it's the sustain. It used to be that we had this conversation because we had never had two winning seasons, consecutive winning seasons. And then we turn and we start to think and CK mentioned it earlier, and we've had this discussion before, and that is we don't have the legacy fans to where, your grandfather, you watched the games with your grandfather when you were a kid. I mean, we're starting to get to second generation Panther fans probably now.
You know what we needed? We needed one more regime after the Cam Newton, Ron Rivera regime.
Yeah.
That would have solidified a little bit more legacy with the Panthers than what we have. And I mean that because we had you have the early onset with John Fox and Jake Delhomme.
Yep.
Then you have the people that are starting to find the Panthers in 2015 with Cam Newton and the team being exciting and fun to watch. And then we needed one more regime, because then you're talking about the kids of the people from the Jake Delhomme days that are then able to get excited about the Panthers. The unfortunate reality is many of them have decided to probably pick another team because, why would you go root for a consecutive, like just a habitual loser? Because that is a horrible way to live in high school. Trust me, I can tell you from experience. And so I can tell you right now, it's one of these things that it is, it's dangerous. And I think that we just do not have the legacy for it. We really don't.
Yeah, I'm to the point where I hate football.
Yeah, whenever we talk to Noah and Connor in the cat calls on the free for all, it's like our heart goes out to them, man, because we want them to know a good team. They were very young in 2015, and that brings us to another C3 bomb from Nirvash with the $10. Says, I'm seeing lifelong fans that are so frustrated and angry with the team. Anytime I wear Panther stuff, people tell me, damn, bro, I'm sorry. 2015 was almost 10 years ago. We need something, dude.
Thank you, Jerry, for the $4.99. He says, Canales mentioned Bryce went in so Dalton won't get hurt. Bryce is done then. Desperate coaches need quarterbacks and a good time to trade him. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to In fact, let's power through a couple more things, and we'll come back because we got Bryce Young and that discussion of Canales as one headline put backtracking on this. Somebody in the chat said we need to make Matt Rule's wife the GM, as she has picked Chuba Hubbard, who's turned out to be the best player on her team right now.
Dude, listen, man. I'm so proud of Chuba. I love that he's been such a consistent part of our team. But one of the things that we did notice in last game is that he was almost a 100-yard rusher, and yet they moved away from running the ball at a time when the game wasn't really out of hand yet. This is from Schuler Callahan on Sports Illustrated. He says, "Why go away from Chuba Hubbard? I know the game kind of got away from the Panthers in the second quarter, but Dave Canales turned away from the ground game before it got out of hand. The Bears were taking away the underneath passing game and had airtight coverage in the passing game. The running lanes were there, and Chuba Hubbard took advantage of it when he did get the football, rushing for over 8 yards per carry. For this team to be competitive, they have to play clock control and keep their defense off the field." And my question is there anything that you think the coaching staff learned from the game against the Bears? And now that you have a new center and a new right tackle, will we be as effective running the ball with Chuba Hubbard? I'll answer real quick, and I'll say yes, because Chuba has ran behind a piecemeal offensive line since he's been here. It's been a revolving door of offensive linemen, and yet Chuba Hubbard remains a very strong, powerful runner. I'm hoping that they can get him going and that they can stay with him when it matters most. But, yeah, man, I hope we just continue to feed Chuba. That's all I want, man. Feed him.
All right. We dipped our toe into this a little bit on the post-game show, and I think it's easy to say, one, I think it's look, I think there's a lot of points that are good that people are saying, why'd you get away from Chuba? I think the person that wrote in about this was saying that, or maybe it was what you just read that was saying this, is to kind of grind the clock down. And for anything, it's more of a token to your defense,
right,
to not have them out there. But I want to put this in a little bit more perspective of how it went. If anything, I think you could say that we didn't run the ball enough maybe on first down, right? Because 3rd and 5 on the first drive, 5 yards on 3rd down running the ball, kind of difficult in that position. But you go up a touchdown, and then they score, they tie it up. The way this goes next is that we started off 1st and 10, 5-yard run, second 6-yard run again. So we ran the ball 2 times, negative 1-yard pass, right? Negative. Then we go backwards on a penalty. It's 2nd and 16. We run. Then it becomes 3rd and 13. We take a sack. You know what I mean? Can you really run the ball on 3rd and 13? The Chicago Bears in the second quarter go up 14-7. Now the Carolina Panthers come out on the next drive, 2-yard pass. So it's 2nd and 8. They run the ball, 2-yard run, and it's 3rd and 6. You know, and what do you do? You got to pass the ball. Now the fact is with 3rd downs, couldn't convert 3rd downs in this game, and that was the killer for the Carolina Panthers through the first 2 games. You go back then, still 14-7, turnover on downs. This is when we get 5-yard run out the gate. So it's almost like they were starting to say, you know what, like, let's run the ball on 1st and 2nd down. You get sacked on the 2nd and 5. That was 3rd and 12. You go to pick up the 1st down, and that is when Tommy Tremble got knocked out. Fumble, right? And then they go up. Now they're up 21-7 after the next drive. Carolina goes. We're still in the second quarter. Carolina turns it over on downs. 1st down, 5-yard run. Boom. Right? So, I mean, they're running the ball effectively on 1st down there. So it's not like they abandoned it completely. Right. They get 8-yard pass. Now it's 1st and 10, pass incomplete. 2nd and 10, you complete a pass. 3rd and 3, can't convert. So I know that, and this to me goes back a little bit with the Nick Sirianni, where he took a lot of flack in his press conference 2 weeks ago. Why aren't you getting Saquon more involved? And my question would be, how could you run the ball on 3rd and 13?
Well, yeah, but do you think that maybe because of the offensive explosion that we experienced against the Raiders, that they were like, maybe they were a little bit too bloviated on what they could do? That they felt like, all right, we have this passing attack. Dalton put up over 30. Let's
I think that's fair.
And try to do that, especially when we know that the Bears are going to try and beat us through the air.
Do you think that could have been Dalton too? Like checking out of certain things, maybe feeling a little bit more, confident in himself and making those choices to, throw the ball instead of run the ball in those circumstances? I mean, I'm not saying that's for sure the case.
I think what it is I think that we just could not find any momentum on 3rd down. And whenever you were in another position, you took a bad play, you had a sack or something to that effect. And really, it's like all the play callings are great when they work. When you don't execute the play, it's a terrible play call. I am not going to go back. I have not felt that Dave Canales has called poor games to this point.
Right.
I don't feel like we look at it and go, that is the real thing. But when everything is going wrong, I think if anything, maybe CK1 is we ran into a damn juggernaut of a defense.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we were going against one of the best defenses in the league when we were going to Chicago this week.
And the second thing is Andy Dalton can't be the Raiders Andy Dalton every week. If he was, he would be a big-time quarterback in this league still. So it's like almost like he came off the high a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we needed a little bit of a cool down offensively to help us put things in perspective with Chuba. The Panthers are at their best when we're running the football. Yeah. That has always been the truth for the Carolina Panthers. Like, I know in recent years we've wanted to reinvent ourselves and do different things, but man, just get back to basics. I think that's really what we need to do. I don't think it was Andy checking out of the plays. Maybe it was, but for the most part, I think this was an entire offensive reset where everybody sort of needed to just remember that running the ball is going to be how the Panthers are going to effectively win football games. And it's going to help lighten, it's going to help the passing attack when you have those linebackers inside the box trying to defend against the run. It's going to open things up down the field.
Right.
Don't forget, guys, that the C3 Panthers podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year, and more are doing it each week by making picks on Underdog. You can go to Underdog Fantasy and win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite sports players, touchdowns, passing yards. Right now, one thing you can do is sign up with the code C3P, and you're going to get not only bonus money based on your deposit, but you're also going to get free gimme picks. Right now, I got a gimme pick up here. Brock Purdy, 0.5 total yards right now. So I just got to find another guy that could get me a win, and I'm in that action. Derrick Henry right now, higher or lower on 0.5 rushing touchdowns. Geno Smith, higher or lower on 252.5 passing yards against the Giants. I think I'm going to take lower on that. And you can even get on in baseball right now. It is MLB playoffs right now. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple to use mobile app or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code C3P, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code C3P to claim your new customer special of a free pick in your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in CO. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, you can call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY 467369. Cody Lack, I think we'll get one more topic in, and let's take some cat calls, dude.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about Trevin Wallace. Trevin Wallace has been somebody that Panther fans have been super excited for, man. And he's finally really starting to come into his own. The fact that Wallace racked up a whopping 15 tackles in his NFL debut carries a little more weight. The training camp superstars day was punctured by a thumping 4th down on a tackle by DeAndre Swift, brought down DeAndre Swift short of the line to gain on a day in which Swift and the Bears ran wild every time they had a chance. Wallace forced turnover on downs and is a moment worth celebrating. So what do we feel about Trevin Wallace, man? Guys were really excited about him during the preseason, and now he's starting to live up to that role. And, dude, it's really cool to have a later round draft pick really starting to play like an absolute starter here. On the
was he 3rd round?
3rd or 4th?
Yeah, I think 4th.
I thought he came before JT Sanders. Not entirely sure.
He went on to say, what's crazy was I didn't even know it was 4th and 1. Listen, I was just in the moment playing. I was just playing ball. I got up and was looking like, where is everyone going? And they were like, oh, you made a 4th down stop. I was like, oh, I did? So, dude, I love the energy. I love the mindset. Kev is saying 4th, but AJ Brooks is saying 3rd. I believe it was the 4th, though.
All right. Either way. Well, I think we were, who's the guy that got picked from NC State that trained with Luke Kuechly, that we're all the white linebacker. He plays for Pittsburgh now.
Yeah, Peyton.
Peyton Willis or Wilson.
Yeah, Peyton Wilson.
I'm going to look up his stats right now.
People, I haven't heard bad things about him. I haven't heard him like popping out, but
yeah, but like a rookie linebacker for another team, CK, we might not hear a lot. How do you spell Peyton Wilson? P-E?
It's depends upon if you're talking about Peyton or painting.
Painting or painting. Peyton Willis. Why is he not? Oh God! Look at this picture that comes up.
And we traded up in the 3rd to grab Wallace.
Look at this picture. Is that a mugshot? That's Peyton Wilson right there. Let's see. I wanted to look up what his stats are right now. Let's see, Peyton Wilson stats. Oh wow.
Oh,
gonna be happy about this. He's had 20 combined tackles on the season. Trevin Wallace got that one game almost. No sacks. I think look, it was interesting right away when the Carolina Panthers didn't pick Peyton Wilson because we heard the Luke Kuechly comparisons.
Right.
We heard now there were concerns with some injuries, but as we were going and doing our draft parties and things, as we said, we just like, hold on, folks, let's not get all crazy here. We got Dan Morgan making the picks, and if there's anybody that knows a linebacker, a guy that can thump, it's Dan Morgan, and he saw that dog in him. He saw that dog. He saw that sideline to sideline speed. He saw the physicality, and he saw a young player that can grow into more. So I think this is the guy that I balled out of the draft that I was most excited about. I would say most excited because I know a lot of people went on that JT Sanders thing, but I've been wooed or awed by that overly big tight end before in the past. Now I've been happy with the way that guy's played too. I haven't been too disappointed as a rookie coming in. But I really thought Trevin Wallace is one of those guys that just because he isn't at the top of everybody's list at the right way, you can see the traits that are going to translate into the NFL. And I like now having a GM, and I don't know if we have or haven't had this in the past, but we could probably think about it later on, talking about it another night, and that is picking a player based on what they can be, not who they are at the moment.
Yeah, that's really what you should be doing every round of the draft. I mean, these players are not coming into the NFL finished, polished products.
Right.
So you have to be able to teach them. You have to be able to build up their game and help their mental and their technical game live up to the physical aspects that you're drafting them on. So I'm excited, man. And he has a good number, 56. I'm sorry, that's just a linebacker number. I like that, dude. I like it. Trevin Wallace is a dog, and I'm hoping that he can continue to be that answer at inside linebacker. Maybe the next Luke. That's a tall order, but hey, all right, he's on the right track. I know that's for sure, man.
You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. The number's 252-228-5098. Appreciate your time, energy, effort. Thanks for the contribution so far. One thing you can do to help the show grow is smash the thumbs up button if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, or you can also hit retweet or repost, I guess you should say now in the X world. But really be great if you take the link and share it with a friend. Be a friend, tell a friend, as the Pat McAfee guys would say. Man, maybe even just directly tag a friend that you know is a Panthers fan that may not listen to the show. One listener at the time. We got to grow together. We're locking arms and getting through this mess together. Cody, I want to hear from some Panther fans right now.
Then let's do it then. 252-228-5098. Let your voice be heard on the longest running Panthers podcast.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
CK, Tony Dunn, Cody Lack, C3 Nation. Hey, it's the Hope Dealer checking in real quick with y'all. Hey,
what's up, brother?
Quick question. After that embarrassing loss that we had up in Chicago, I got to thinking, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is an absolute monster. But I got a question.
Yeah.
Why did they stop feeding the beast? Did y'all pick up on that?
Yeah.
Did y'all notice that? Like, Chuba was running so well. I noticed right after the drive where he got that 30-something yard touchdown towards the beginning of the game, I think it was the next series or the series after that, man, they started putting in Miles Sanders.
Now, that would be the bigger issue I have.
Like, I don't understand that. And, you know, I am a believer in Coach Canales. I really am. I mean, I like what he's putting together, but I do sometimes wonder, as far as game scheme, why we do stuff like that. Could it be, I mean, what's y'all thoughts on that, boys? Like, could it be that because they still paying Miles Sanders in that contract, like they trying to run him, trying to get his trade value up so they can trade him? I don't know, man. Like, the way Chuba been running, man, he's running like one of the top running backs in the NFL right now, and I feel like he's underutilized in some ways. But anyway, man, you know, disappointing loss, man. You know, we gotta keep pounding. We gotta keep our head of the sky, man. We gotta keep dealing some hope, man. That hopium. So, you know, anyway, man, it's your boy CP, the Hope Dealer. I'm out. Keep pounding, baby.
Keep pounding. I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but
yeah,
I mean,
it is
about
the Miles Sanders part. I think since we've already talked about in many ways, like the kind of circumstances around some of the questions about how much you're running the ball. You know, are you putting Miles Sanders in there because you need to give Chuba Hubbard, you need to not wear him out too much? Or are you putting Miles Sanders in because it gives different looks to the defense and they can't, you know, maybe they have to start thinking a little bit about different things you're doing? But the only thing that Miles Sanders and I hate dumping on players, dumping on them, but the only thing he's done good so far, memorable to me, is he caught that pass from Bryce Young late in the game.
Yeah, and listen, don't feel bad. He was paid millions of dollars to come here and be good, and he's been a very large disappointment. And by the way, there's only 5 other running backs in the league with more total rushing yards than Chuba Hubbard. So, you know, again, Jordan Mason, Derrick Henry is another one. But, I mean, a lot of these guys, you know, there's some bigger names. I mean, except for Jordan Mason, who's balling out for San Fran this year.
Can you sort that by yards per carry?
Hold
I think he might lead the league right there.
yards.
No, Saquon's got 6 yards per attempt. It's the 2 over from the right. Keep going right there. Sort there. Oh, Tank. All right, don't count that. Dobbins, Henry,
Chuba
Barkley.
Hubbard 7.
Yeah. I mean, and one of those is a dang quarterback.
Yeah, Chuba is 5th in total yards with Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Jordan Mason, and Derrick Henry only in front of him. I mean, dude, listen, Chuba's running his ass off.
He is.
Yeah, he is. And I love this dude. I've loved him for a long time. I think he's an angry runner. And to me, he's going to be the reason why we have an offense this year. So, is this an offense that's able to move the ball down the field consistently? I don't feel like our passing attack is going to be able to do it consistently with how many injuries we have on the O-line and how many injuries we have at the wide receiver position with Thielen and now potentially Xavier Leggett being injured. Chuba Hubbard has ran through worse offensive lines before, and I think that he's going to continue to be all right. It just sucks because the Panthers always find themselves in this situation. We're going to have to pay Chuba this year, or else he's going to go somewhere else and be a good running back for someone else. And I hate the fact that we're developing talent just to send them off to other places. But you also drafted Jonathan Brooks, so maybe the organization doesn't want to pay a running back any more money when they just drafted one. I don't know, man. I just know we let go of Devonta Foreman a few years ago, and we sort of regretted that.
Only momentarily, because we regressed. He's not even in the league right now, dude, basically.
At the time, he was a good 1-2 punch with Chuba in the type of offense that we were running at that time with Steve Wilkes as head coach. So I don't know. This is going to be a bit of a conundrum because I do not want to see him leave next year, but I don't know if Dan Morgan is going to decide to want to pay him.
All right, let's take another call. The number's 252-228-5098.
Hey guys, hey Lincoln from the lovely state of Alabama. Hopefully everyone's got some more people got their power back and such. I might have to go rescue my grandparents down in lovely Central Florida. They live on the coast, South Sarasota. But let's get to Panthers game. So I didn't call during the post game because I was still in one. We had guests over and I was dealing with that, but 2, I was just like wanted to collect my thoughts. So I hear a lot of people blaming Vero for defensive issues. I hear injury bugs. Now it's a run. Honestly, Vero has not been the best defense coordinator, but I do believe he was given a defense with one hand tied behind his back, because in order for us to get Bryce Young a chance to succeed, and I'm using air quotes here, is we had to gut the defense, build the offense. And then our already very thin defense has been massacred by injuries. I mean, I want to say what? We have maybe 2, 3 guys, maybe 4 at most, that are actually in the positions they started at the beginning of the season. This is all on, I blame the loss, honestly. I know this is copping it out on Davis Pepper insistence on paying the farm for Bryce Young, because we had fewer picks to build the defense. We had to gut the defense to make Bryce Young, try to attempt to make Bryce Young look competent, which has been an abject failure. And Vero, well, I don't think he's the best DC in the league. I think he was handed a very, very hard situation. His defense had very little star power, very little good players, except for 2. And that was 3 if you want to include Shaq Thompson, which I think he's starting on his way out. We had Shaq Thompson, Derrick Brown, and J.C. Horn. Well, 2 of those guys are gone. And the rest, a lot of the other stars are also down as well. So we'll see. I don't know what to think about this team anymore. It's cool seeing Wallace kid, who I was not sure about, looked great. And Jalen Cooker, who I've been pulling for, looked good. But, oh my gosh, we'll see what's going on, guys. Catch you on the podcast. Keep pounding. Keep attempting to survive. Good job.
Great call. Great.
Proud
I
of
mean,
him.
look, and I think this was going into Sunday's game that we were down 64% of our starters on defense. And then you lose Clowney.
Right.
I mean, like, it's J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, and Troy
Hill.
Those maybe Xavier Woods is playing right now. You know, I mean,
yeah.
You're talking four guys out of 11. One thing that kind of stunk about that game, speaking of, is that we got that 12 men on the field call on defense. That hurt on that. I think they ended up going down and scoring maybe on that drive. We had 12. I think, though, a lot of those issues and just AC Link said, or is it AU or AC? I think AU Link said this at the beginning of his call, kind of, feeling sorry, for Ejiro Evero, because, going into the season, he already had a hodgepodge mismatch of guys that made him in some ways potentially lame, like fighting an uphill battle. But I think some of those penalties, and I think the problems on the defense have just been the guys haven't played it all together. It's like some of these guys are like, this is my first time in the NFL, dude. I'm out here all of a sudden. The guy with the green dot, Trevin Wallace, who had a monster game, didn't even know what down it was.
No.
And he
had the green dot too.
I mean, I'm not trying to, I think sometimes the people across the league are probably going to make too big of a deal of that. It's like he was out there. He probably, I think he called the play in. He probably knew what he had to do. He said, I'm just playing ball. I mean, he's not to the Luke Kuechly yet, down distance. Luke Kuechly, I heard talking on the broadcast, guys, and they were asking, Jake Delhomme asked him, how is it that teams against this defense it looks like bulls on parade when they throw a screen pass and they got like all their linemen running down the field 10 yards. And he was asking about some of the nuances. And Luke Kuechly, about how if it's a screen pass or how you get Luke Kuechly goes, I think just over time you learn body language. You maybe notice how the running back's hand is on his thigh. So I was like,
dude, he would notice something like that. He didn't have a cable for the first 3 years that he was here. That's all he would do is study and check their body language. But dude, it takes a next level of attention to detail to be that type of linebacker.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what made Luke so special. And I think that's what makes playing the inside linebacker position so hard, because you are the quarterback of the defense. You have to be able to change the plays. You have to be able to, tell the defensive tackle to get in the right gap and all those things that we knew that Luke would do. He's definitely on the right track. I mean, listen, I'm loving the young players. I think that on defense, we have, at least at the linebacker position, we have some talent to look forward to. Yeah. Outside of that, with Josie Jewell and Shaq Thompson, both of them being injured, I think we need a brand new linebacking core outside of Wallace next year.
We haven't invested a lot in it in the years. We stuck with Shaq, and that was about it. Trevin Wallace is the first guy that we really put any investment in. We've been hodgepodging it together with a bunch of no names or old hats to hear Whitehead type players. Let's power through with some calls real quick.
Hey, C3, this is your girl, Kristen Butler. This is going to be short. First of all, I can't even be mad at DJ Moore cooking against us on Sunday. Basically, just a reminder for me of my frustration with the Panthers. We don't value our good players, period. We let them go, and they continue to ball out elsewhere. Efero, I hope he's gone by the end of the season. Besides a very missed Jarrett Brown, J.C. Horn, and our rookie Trevin Wallace, that's our defense. We have nobody. So this next draft, I hope we draft for defense for the majority part. Our offense, holy hell. Now, I'm not going to get too upset with our head coach Canales, but coach, please feed Chuba the ball. 13 carries for my boy? Ridiculous. And put in Miles Sanders in? Quit it. If anything, they can use Sanders as a receiver because it's obvious we have no tight ends. Mingo, who shouldn't be on the field. Otherwise, Moore and Coker need to get more involved. And Johnson, now Tony, I do like Johnson for the most part, but I really hope the dude gets some baby powder for the Butterfingers and shares that, because I am sick of the drop passes. Definitely not looking forward to the game against Falcons for obvious reasons. All these injuries, I want to know, who the hell are the Panthers trainers? We look out of shape,
saying,
half-charged, uninspiring, and checked out. And Frankie Louvu. I miss my former Panther hubby. Anyways, I can't even end my call with keep pounding. Instead, keep figuring it out. Love y'all. Peace.
Love you, Kristen.
Absolutely.
Man, what a call. Great call. Man, you don't want to go first on that one?
Gets the applause. I only have one thing to say, and that is my friend, Commanders fan. He just sent me a message. Just thanks for Louvu. How'd you get away? How'd you let him get away?
They love him. And dude, it was such.
He didn't want to play here.
Yeah, I don't think we. If we could have kept him, I think we would have. I think he wanted to go be able to compete somewhere else. 100%.
Boy, did he make the right decision, huh?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
One other, I guess my only other thing, and I'll let you guys have the rest of the topics on the call, is if Ejiro Evero is gone, Robert Saleh in, long history and friendship with.
Well, which one do you want to talk about? We have 2 slides for that. Do you want to do the Mingo and Jalen Coker, or you want to talk about
let's talk about it.
Yeah, so look, someone tweeted, should Jalen Coker start over Jonathan Mingo? And listen, at this point, I don't know who would want to see Jonathan Mingo over Jalen Coker. Like, Jonathan Mingo has been such a disappointment. He's so slow out of his breaks. There's already articles talking about whether or not we should trade him. They don't even mention what we would get in return for it. They're just saying that we should trade Jonathan Mingo to the Washington Commanders. Oh, great. We'll trade a 2nd-round pick for a 6th-round pick.
Let's sabotage somebody. Let's sabotage another team.
Yeah, really. I mean, dude, he's not. Dude, I don't know if it was just he wasn't as polished of a player that we thought he was coming out, or if he just needed more development.
Or he's just not going to work out.
Yeah, or he's a bust. I mean, the amount of drop passes is embarrassing. He is not a very crisp route runner. He runs a lot of those banana routes, meaning he doesn't stop on a dime and cut very well at all. Supposedly he has a good straight line speed, but never once have we seen that really with Jonathan at any point on the field. So listen, the trade deadline is going to be coming up at some point.
Early November.
Yeah, early November. And we're going to have
week in November.
We're going to have to do a lot of questioning as to what players are a part of our future and what players aren't. And they made the point that...
I think we're gutting it by...
Why not? Do the full tank for once. The Panthers never go, and when I mean tank, I don't mean lose on purpose, but go full rebuild. Like, this is year 0 of a rebuild. And I know nobody wants to hear that.
I think you have to, and I know administrative tanking is one way to think about it. I just think this, if you know that the player, for your better players, if you know that you're not going to be able to retain them in the offseason because of free agency or funds, or, you cannot, why not get something for them, right? And for the players that you don't want around anymore, why not get something for them?
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I mean, at this point in time, I don't think there's anybody who's going to be able to argue that this is a season that we're going to be competitive with the losses we've had on defense. So it's hard not to make the argument to try to stock up on some draft picks. We've already got a tremendous amount of them coming in this year. I say tremendous, but we're pretty stacked on the draft picks available this year. So it'll be an interesting look into how they value this draft moving forward. If they're not looking at this draft and saying, hey, listen, there's a tremendous amount of talent, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing them trading for 2026 draft picks.
And by the way, the reason I put the picture of Bryce and Mingo is because Bryce was so bad we benched him, right? He was a rookie last year. why is Jonathan Mingo still on the field after playing so bad? Like, at a certain point, did you not give the younger, hungrier guy a chance to go out there and be better? Especially if it's looking like he's more physically advanced than Mingo. He's around the same height. I believe he's a little bit faster. He's already made some good plays for us. Yeah, to me, this is inevitable. Like, it's especially if it continues to happen, that's going to be one real big drawback of the Canales regime to me, is continuing to play this player that just continues to do nothing for the Panthers.
Right.
I'm over it.
My favorite comment so far in the chat from C3 Superfan Com Trues said fans. So it's fans like colon. It says, well, it can't get any worse. Panthers, hold my beer. They find inventive ways to do it. Now, creative ways are very disheartening ways to do it. CK, you said maybe that we're looking forward to 2025. I do think you could think of, not 2020, the following year, because we have 9 draft picks.
Yeah, for this upcoming
I
draft.
don't care if we have 20 draft picks going in this draft, because then I would just package them all together and try to get 6 really good players.
Yeah, I mean,
that's move up and just get dudes that you want.
That's the argument that I think people are going to be making, is I think that if this, I mean, I haven't, in Cody, you're going to have to tell me if this is the case or not. But I haven't heard of any of those like real dogs in this draft. Like when you saw Jadeveon Clowney coming out, it was like every single week it was Jadeveon Clowney on the highlight reel. Jadeveon Clowney, right? I don't know that I'm seeing that this much, and that's coming from a guy who doesn't watch college football. I notice when these guys are really highly sought after, you see them when
there's hype around
regularly, right?
Yeah, there's hype.
I don't feel like I'm hearing of much hype in this draft, and so why that's something that is of concern for me is that makes me think that there aren't those, as Tony loves to hear, generational players.
Yeah, exactly. So thank God there's not.
Yeah. But that also means that I think there's an opportunity legitimately for us to move back and establish more draft picks for 2026. I don't really, here's the thing that's going to make us nauseous. I don't see how we're competitive next year. And
I shouldn't laugh at that. Why did I laugh at
I don't
that?
see when we're going to be competitive ever.
There's a path to it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a very quick path. Now, can we find a diamond in the rough, or maybe a few of them? I think we need a draft like the Saints had when they ended up getting Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore, among others. And like that's the type of draft we need, where like it's like 3 out of their 10 draft picks are like superstars, and then the rest are contributors of some sort. Like I think that will be enough to try to get us moving in the right direction. And here's the thing: like reality is, we don't need. I mean, we need a quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but we need a guy. We need a team that can win regardless. And I know this is a weird comparison because you do have Patrick Mahomes, but Kev put in something talking about Patrick Mahomes' stats this year. If you look at them, you're going to be like, and they're 5-0. Like his stats are that, and they're 5-0. You're kidding me, right? Like it's like 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Like his passer rating isn't fantastic. Like it's actually pretty average, if not below average this year. And you what you realize is, a complete team is way more important than just that one position. And I think that at this point in time, I'm ready to see this team be a complete team. And, I'm ready to shore up the things that we haven't had in a while. So,
Cody, how crazy would it be if the Panthers drafted Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama? Awkward.
Dude, listen, I love it. And listen, I'm a firm believer you're not scouting the helmet. Don't do this shit of, oh, I don't want another Alabama quarterback. The physical differences in arm talent and maneuverability and escapability and straight line running speed between Bryce Young and Jalen Milroe is night and day, dude.
6'2", 220.
Yeah, and listen, imagine him, Chuba Hubbard, and Jonathan Brooks, and we just pound the football running the bitch. Come on, man. Like, that's the type of shit that we need. To me, it's an identity thing. I would still like to have a quarterback on the roster, maybe even Andy Dalton again, so that Milroe can grow a little bit. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it, man. Listen, I know I'm early saying this, but it is not a mistake to draft a quarterback in this year's draft if there is a future talent available for the Panthers to draft. I'm not saying you must. I think we need to go best player available, but especially between him and Cam Ward right now, if either of those guys are there, I say you do it, man. I don't think there's any reason not to.
CK, you say you might not be an elite draft just from what you're hearing, but I tell you, the name game is elite when it comes to this draft class. We need Key and Peele to do it. Tatario McMillan, Shador Sanders. Look at that. I like this. Hold on.
Pierce.
Malake Starks. We got to get, all I know is this, is I don't care. Amika Ugbuka, which that way, I mean, now these are just some of these. These are just, look at this. Ariante Ursary.
Dude, the coolest name to come through the draft is Kool-Aid McKinstry.
That's cool, but look, Takaria Davis, cool name.
Yeah.
I already know this is my draft crush. Princely Uman Milan.
Princely
Milan. It's like, I just feel like it's gonna be Eddie Murphy. But listen, gosh, there is an ECU player in the top 40 here.
There are options at most positions, and we're gonna have 10 draft picks. So listen, we're going to talk about Dan Morgan here in a little bit too, and how he's sort of been having to clean up the mess of Fitterer. And I think this next year's draft is really going to show us if Dan Morgan is worth his weight in salt or not. This is going to be his opportunity to have a full bid draft and get a bunch of different players that he needs. And listen, let's be real. We're looking at a top 3 pick. We don't know if it'll be 1, 2, or 3, but there will be a quarterback available for us at that pick, and it's not off the table. And yes, another Alabama quarterback is not off the table.
I'm telling you it is. There's just no shot that they're taking a quarterback that is barely rated as a mid to barely even maybe even a first round pick. I mean,
he's top 30.
Why are we believing but that's my point. Why are we believing all of these draft pundits when they spent the last 2 years telling us how awesome Bryce Young was? Yeah. And that was never the truth. You have to evaluate every player for who they are. And
sure, I agree. But I'm saying that at the point of what I know of, which is like, again, very little, it's none of these guys coming out are impressive. Like, as far as like, they're not.
Shador Sanders people are, but the Jalen Milroe guys got a lot going on for him. A lot of it, like the Cam Ward guy, but CK, maybe the Milroe guy is a guy you want to get, but because he's not top 10 necessarily.
Here's the thing. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is I would much rather. I mean, here's my argument. I would be fine with picking him if we weren't picking in the top 3.
Right. Like, what if you could get that type of player in the 20s and
that's
trade up into it?
Can there's I don't think that you're going to see many people putting a lot of effort into trying to get that guy in the top 10. And here's the thing. That's my argument is if we want to trade back for some assets, by all means, let's do it. Let's rack up the picks. Let's, get a few extra second rounders, maybe get another first rounder next year, move back, and then get the guy. I'm fine with that. The idea of getting a quarterback doesn't cause me to be nauseous. What causes me to be nauseous is passing on a person that could actually make our team effectively better in the other areas in which we have been like absolutely starving in. And, we can talk about quarterback all day. We have seen constantly this year specifically that if you have a great system, it does not matter necessarily as long as you have a quarterback that has the ability that who you put back there. And so I think free agency makes way more sense to me unless you're trading back in the draft.
Cody, what position does Kool-Aid play?
Cornerback.
Oh, man. I mean, well, hey, if you could get him anytime he makes a play, you get to go, ooh, yeah.
But listen, I wanted to say that CK, I'm not even disagreeing with you, but I'm saying one, it's too early to judge the quarterbacks.
Sure.
Because again, you said that you're not necessarily watching all the college football, and number two, that so Alabama just lost to Vanderbilt.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you see what they did?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
the
You know what Vanderbilt did?
Yes.
yeah, dude, they
mess
tore
is
down
awesome.
they
Trolled
tore down the goalpost and they carried it down the main street.
Oh, well,
Nashville.
that is awesome. But they also put a clip up at the end of the game of Nick Saban saying that no one's scared to play in Vanderbilt. And they like trolled them afterwards.
Hey, you gotta eat your words sometime. But the reason why I brought that up is even though they lost to Vanderbilt of all teams, they were in that game at the last minute because of the heroics of Jalen Milroe. And
Well, I
then,
bet Jordan said he beat Georgia.
yeah, he did. And then listen, remember, CJ Stroud elevated his draft stock based on what he did against Georgia, and Jalen Milroe had incredible plays in that game to be able to come back at the very end and beat Georgia.
I'm just saying it would be awkward to have Bryce Young and Jalen Milroe on the roster together. The juxtaposition in height and size, and both Alabama quarterbacks. I tell you this, I can go ahead and mark down offensive tackle Wyatt Millum as a lock, dude. With a name like that, you are an offensive lineman. Wyatt Millum. Great offensive line name right there.
I will say, man, y'all are going to start believing me on these quarterbacks. Y'all are going to start, dude.
I still don't believe you.
Why Big Jordan said Kool-Aid plays for the Saints?
Yeah, he's not in this year's draft. I'm saying,
that was your favorite.
That was just the best name to ever come through the draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misinterpreted that or misheard.
But Cody, I still think that you have some making up to do. I mean, you did, have a pretty high bar set for Matt Corral, and I think that's a tough pill to swallow.
Ooh.
If Matt Corral would have been given every chance that Bryce Young would have, he would have been better than Bryce Young.
He went to the Patriots where he had probably the biggest chance in the NFL to have an opportunity.
The Patriots weren't a good team. Dude, whatever. I called Justin Herbert. Jaden Daniels was my number one last year. CJ Stroud was number one the year before. My man, Big Jordan, he knows what's up. He's like, it's time to listen to Cody on all things quarterbacks, baby.
Right.
I evaluate them with the best of them.
All right.
Let's go.
Back to the calls.
Oh, hey guys, Coach Canel's here. Oh, you know it's me because of my positive vibes, my good energy, my tight fucking t-shirts. Oh, look at me. Oh, but I talked to coordinator Evero, and he said that we're not going to run the Swiss cheese coverage ever again this season. Yeah, and I am positive that after we were down 14-7, I completely abandoned the run. Completely did that. Wanted to go dink and dunk passes because it worked so well in weeks 1 and 2. You fucking guys. You believe this fucking guy? Holy shit. Yeah, we were fooled again, boys. Fooled again. How the fuck they come out, against the Raiders and shit and the Bengals, and then we get this again. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. The defense is shit, trash. We got that. But the play call, what the fuck happened? I get he's a rookie head coach, but what the fuck? Fuck. Half of us listening to the show could have fucking called a better game than that. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. This fucking guy in his tight fucking t-shirts, I fucking swear, his pompous ass attitude. And yeah, I like the guy, I do. But why? Why do what you do? Why do that? I don't get it. Abandon the run, down 1 score. You just completely hit fucking panic mode. I don't get it. Like, you know what? That's why I don't get paid the fucking big bucks. That's why I'm some fucking chump slinging fucking sandwiches in Spartanburg, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? But thanks to C3, I have a voice. And I could fucking tell some jokes and some shit like that, make you guys laugh a little bit. So before I go, Cody, did I ever tell you the time? I went to a quadriplegic strip club? Bro, the place was crawling with pussy.
No!
Yeah. Right. I gotta go.
All right. I love impersonation calls, first of all.
Oh, I love that dude, man.
Like right now, my list of favorite calls are Braley, Hager, which I know I've murdered her name every time she's called. Number 1 on my list. Number 2 on my list are inter-caller rivalries. Love those. And number 3 on my list are impersonation calls.
Hey, dude, that was a great Dave Canales. You know, I mean, listen, I couldn't have done a better one.
But come on, if your name is Muscles Marinara and you're going to come after somebody for wearing a tight t-shirt, he's one of us. He's one of us.
He's a paisan. But listen,
hand me my little brother's t-shirt.
Look, man, I'm not going to go into full defense mode for Dave Canales just because the team is bad. But I also think a lot of it is out of his control. I want Dave Canales to pick his own quarterback. That's what I want him to do. I want him to pick the guy that he wants to be under center, the guy that he thinks is going to be able to operate his offense to effectiveness. You saw how much better it looked with Andy Dalton coming in under center.
Right.
And it does look better. So, you know, this year, I'm not going to say that there is no criticisms that you can levy against Canales. I mean, we're just now saying he should have ran the ball with Chuba Hubbard way more than he did. But I don't know, man. I'm just going to give him a little bit more of a grace period until he can finally build this team the way that he wants to. Yeah, man. And listen, I still disrespect him. I respect him for making that decision to bench Bryce Young.
Yeah,
and I've got some more shit to say about Bryce later in this.
That took some Canales cojones.
Yes,
right there. All right, next call, Anthony from Charlotte.
Yo, what's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday. I realized my last call on Sunday, I said, hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday, and it was Sunday. I'm losing my mind from this team.
Don't worry, we weren't having a good Sunday.
You know, not much to talk about. Heading into Atlanta, home game. Last week was tough, really tough loss. These injuries keep piling up, man. I mean, who is the strength and conditioning and training staff? Like, who are these guys? Because it feels like it's been the same guy here from the Matt Rule regime. Players are just dropping like flies. I mean, without Corbett and Moten, the O-line is going to take a hit. Defense is so depleted. Like, I've never, and you know, I've been a fan since 2008. This is the worst defense they've ever put on the field. And granted, I think we all knew it was going to take a step back.
Yeah.
But even with the starters in week 1, like, the defense was just bad from the jump. Like, this is one of the worst, if not the worst defense they've ever offered us as fans. So there's that. The injuries are piling up. It's too much for Canales and Morgan to overcome. You know, a lot of fans have just lost it. And I don't blame them, honestly. You know, we just went through so much. And really this year, all we asked was to be in competitive games. And we've only won 1 so far. It's starting to feel like it was a fluke win at this point. You know, circling back to these trade conversations, there's like only 5 guys on this roster that you should keep. The 2 guards. Hold up. Let me call you guys back.
Yeah, he's got part 2. It's short, or well, too short. 2 half calls.
Hey guys, sorry I'm back. Got cut off by something. But yeah, what I was saying was there's only like 5 untouchable dudes on this roster. Like Chuba, the 2 guards, Derek Brown, and Horn. That's it. And I guess the rookies. But, like, dude, it's just, you know, some of the things are really coming back into question. Why'd we take a running back in the 2nd round? We needed a center there, man. We were all scared about Austin Corbett's health and potentially missing time this year. Look, he's out for the year now. And you're asking Brady Christiansen to transform into center. I mean, dude, I feel so bad for Brady Christiansen. It's like, he's a right tackle, then he was a left tackle, then he was a right guard, left guard, now center. Like, it's just crazy. So, yeah, I would trade everyone, man. These players are going to want to come back here. And at this point, dude, like, listen, I think we'll probably be 1-6, 1-7 looming. Right in the week of the bye. Right in the week of the deadline. Gotta look to dish some players, and at this point, if you're 1-6, 1-7, so just put Bryce in there and let's continue this thing, because really the team just needs. There's so many bad decisions that have been made, so much turnover, so much wrongdoing, so many awful just decision makers at the helm. They just need to take one on the chin this year and just regroup. Really, there's only 5 good players on this team, as established good players. Yeah, man, some of the moves just questionable. Just very upset. I don't have us winning this week. I say we're gonna lose 27-13 against the Falcons. I just don't see us winning. It's hard on our offense. If they get stopped one possession, they're cooked. Anthony from Charlotte, sorry, that was a long call. Got cut off, but give me your thoughts. Keep motherfucking pounding.
Listen, Anthony, I know this team sucks, but I wouldn't wish Bryce Young playing under center for the Panthers on my worst enemy, dude. I don't want to see him play. And for what? You basically need to come out and say that I want to put in Bryce Young because I want to guarantee that we lose all the rest of the games going forward to better secure our draft position. I'm done having faith that Bryce is going to do something or turn it on. There are throws that Andy Dalton can make that Bryce will never make. He had that one good pass against right when it came in against the Bears, but then basically that was kind of it, man. Listen, I'm done with the Bryce experiment. I don't know why anyone would want him to be in. And when you saw how bad we lost, it's not like it's even that much of a difference anyway.
All right, so Anthony's in the chat. He says that's what he's saying to ensure that take. I disagree. I disagree with you and agree with Anthony for a different reason. Is I think you get to 1-9, and it's look, you know who Andy Dalton is as a player. You know who he is. I think you really got to either start trying to give Bryce time to get reps in and to just figure out if there is no hope for him in the league and on your roster. And in the worst case scenario is this, or the best case and the worst case scenario for the Panthers is that he starts to progress a little from week to week. Maybe you can get more in a trade for him before the draft deadline. Or maybe worst is that you say, hey, maybe his time isn't done in Carolina.
Make him compete next year.
Absolutely.
I don't like that. You're not competing.
Why?
Nobody
we
ever
don't owe
competes
him
in training
anything.
camp. Nobody really wins shit.
We owe Bryce Young nothing. We owe him nothing. We don't deserve to send him to a better situation.
Not gonna real competition, dude.
We don't deserve to take the loss on the trade value. If he wants to be here and continue to get better, let him stay here under that rookie contract, dude.
I don't think you guys are arguing on that point. That's kind of Tony's not saying that you give him anything. He's saying that he doesn't believe there's a such thing as a competition. With when it comes to something like that. I disagree with that in my opinion, because I think that there are competitions that happen every single camp and we see it by surprise cuts happening, so I do agree that there is a need to allow him to compete next year. And like Cody said, if you're not getting more than a third for him, he stays here. If we traded him for a third, yes, that would be great, but we're not trading him and his contract for a third. We're going to eat the cost of whatever we signed him for. And the other team is basically getting a free rookie basically a free player for the extent of the next 3 years.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And people might say I'm stingy, but I'm not letting him go for anything other than a first round pick.
Right.
I'm fucking not, dude. Why would
I think pretty much 2 weeks ago you said you would trade him for a bag of Doritos or something.
No, I fucking didn't. I never said I wanted to lose all that value on the trade. My thing is that with Bryce Young, if a team believes in him enough to trade for him, that they think he could be the answer on their team, like a Miami or LA or whoever it ends up being, then yeah, you need to pay up for him. And you have 3 years of a rookie contract left on him to get something out of him. I am done with the Panthers taking losses on trade value, especially if we're going to be trading these players that we just drafted. So yeah, man, I wanted to bring this up because Dave Canales found himself in more controversy. I saw this amongst some podcasters and a lot of fans on Twitter, right? So Dave Canales basically said that Bryce Young got in the game, but he was criticized for basically saying that he wanted to make sure that Andy Dalton stayed healthy. And man, he got into a ton of shit for this, man. And
man, that is a talking point.
Well, yeah, but it's so stupid to me
dumb,
because again, it's like he was protecting the health of his starting quarterback, but because they put Bryce Young in, yet again, it's a failure to protect him or a failure to do anything for him. So what? This was who's on the left here?
On
Shannon
the left
Sharp?
is Shannon Sharp. Yeah.
So Shannon Sharp said, "This man said we have some injuries on the offensive line. Let's put our quarterback that we benched, who's dealing with some confidence issues, who's been sacked and battered damn near more than any other quarterback in the NFL in his first 18 to 19 starts. Let's put him behind a banged-up offensive line and see what he can do." Man, Dave Canales, you should have kept that to yourself. I wouldn't have even said anything. Why? What did he say wrong? He gave Bryce Young a chance to play, and he also protected the health of his starting quarterback when he had offensive linemen go down. You cannot make anyone happy. You really can't.
Oh, absolutely not.
Stephen A. Smith responded to him and said, "Shannon Sharp, you missed the worst part. He said he wanted to protect Andy Dalton, not Bryce Young. Andy Dalton. He wanted to protect Andy Dalton. Yeah, the better player." I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Listen, here's the deal right now. This is the worst franchise in football. That's undeniable.
The Raiders are pretty crappy.
No, dude, we're worse. Even though we beat them, dude, we're fucking worse.
The Raiders are pretty crappy.
They are.
We'll just go back to what we said on the post games, CK, is that if Bryce Young was in this game and he was the starter and it's week 5 or week 5, you're getting smoked like that at the end.
Yeah.
And you pull Bryce Young out and you say, well, we're trying to protect Bryce Young. It's the right thing to do, right? I mean, the only reason that people are going to criticize this or those words is because the thought that you are willing to throw such a high draft pick to the Wolves.
Right.
Other than that, it's really not a bad decision. And how many fucking quarterbacks you got on the team? Man, who else are you going to put in? You're going to make Andy Dalton keep going out there?
Yeah. It was like, you play, and dude, didn't he give the worst?
That was the perfect timing for Bryce to go in, to be honest. Did you see what Canales said about how he
I have that. Let's play the.
Yeah, I would like to hear his, because I know somebody was going to ask him.
You mean on the Bryce thing? On the
yeah. I mean, all right. Let's see if you get a clip. Yeah.
Just saw it as an opportunity there. We had a couple of injuries on the offensive line, and again, just like wanted to get him in there to just make get some live reps. And he did a fantastic job. Playing with energy, extending plays, finding some completions down the field, which was all fantastic. So, it's a hard situation, but at that point, it was just like, okay, with just the different things happening on the offensive line, it was something where I wanted to get Andy out of there, and then just give Bryce a chance. Yeah,
there is nothing wrong with anything that man said
after the game or there.
And it relies on this notion that the big bad Panthers and their terrible incompetency, that we owe a debt to poor Bryce.
Yeah.
Because we have done him so bad and so dirty. And I'm fucking sick of it, dude. Like, I'm just sick of it. No one ever gives any grief to Bryce for being one of the worst rookie quarterbacks to come in the NFL, maybe ever. Not saying that he was in the best situation, but he definitely left players on the field. He definitely throws from his tippy toes, and he definitely does not have an NFL caliber arm. So, I wasn't even a big proponent of, oh, well, you can't draft him because he was short. Short quarterbacks have worked before. There's been Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Doug Flutie. Hell, PJ Walker was uncorking some bombs, and he's only 5'10". We'll talk about him later, too. But now when you see Bryce behind these lines and they always have him in shotgun, Tony, you're right. He does have a real problem being able to see down the field. And all of these things are somehow not the fault of Bryce Young. They're not, it's all everyone around him. And it just pisses me off, man, because it's like this entitlement culture that because he was drafted high, we know that he's a good player, but the Panthers are so bad that's why Bryce is so bad. I'm tired of hearing it, man. To me, it's a dumb argument.
All right, let's go back to the calls. Yeah, smash the thumbs up button. Do us a solid. If you're watching the show after it's live later on, I mean, if you're watching it here and now, this doesn't matter. Leave comments. A lot of comments in the post-game show, right? The more comments we get, the more thumbs up we get, the more subs. We've got to manufacture some excitement for the C3 Panthers podcast. Yeah. We've got to manufacture hope among Panther fans, or else we're all just going to fall into apathy, oblivion. And I got enough of that in my life right now. I need this podcast, folks. I need y'all. Right now to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, share the show. Let's go to the next call, and my boys are going to cover me.
Hey guys, this is Daryl. It's been a minute since I called in, but been listening to you guys every week. Appreciate what you do.
What's up, Daryl?
Just wanted to give kind of my thoughts on where we're at right now for the Panthers, man. Bryce, since before the draft last year, I was a CJ Stroud guy, not because I watched him a lot in college, but just comparing the two of what they've done in the college playoffs, it just seemed like Stroud just had a little more fire in his belly, and I think that's what Bryce is missing, on top of just missing the attributes needed to be an NFL quarterback, just the size and arm strength and all that. And I think he's kind of shown us that if he ever succeeds at this level, he's still going to be limited by the size. So. Cody said something last week that I think, especially after losing to Chicago this past week and kind of getting that game out of the way, DJ Moore revenge game, seeing the number one pick that should have been our pick play the way he did, and our number one pick from last year being over on the bench and not playing until the game didn't matter. I think this is a good moment to just kind of turn the page. And I know that everybody's going to keep talking about that trade, and everybody's going to keep talking, about how much of a blown opportunity we had with that and the players that are gone now that were here. But I think that it's just a good time with Dave Canales. I believe in Dave Canales. I think he's a good offensive coordinator. I think that, he's just going to grow and get better and better as a head coach. I'm seeing guys schemed open on our offense, and I haven't seen that in years. So I feel like it's just time to turn the page on all that. We can't go back and get those players back. We can't go back and get C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young. We can't go back and get Caleb Williams, this year. It's what are we going to do now? And it seems to me that, first of all, in the off season, I think Avero is probably done after this year. Some of it not his fault. I mean, we ain't got the talent, but then at the same time, even last year when we had a little bit better talent, we were still bad against the run. We were still bad about getting pressure on the quarterback. It seems like the secondary does okay for the most part, but everybody plays off so much, and there's not a lot. It doesn't seem like they're playing on their man, very often. And I just don't know how you're going to, get them explosive plays on the defense if you're playing so far off of or such far off coverage. And I'm like Tony. I just give it the eye test, and it just hasn't looked good. So today, Robert Saleh gets fired from the Jets.
Yeah, he got cut off right there. So we'll talk about Robert Saleh in a minute, and how Dave Canales and Robert Saleh have a history with each other. But again, going back to the start of his call, seeing all the other players that the Panthers could have had all play well, and our number one guy that we traded up for was on the bench, like that is a testament to how bad that trade was. And you can't tell anyone that they don't have the right to be mad for them making that kind of trade.
Right.
It was just dumb, man. And then, dude, CJ Stroud threw a touchdown pass this past weekend, deep downfield against the Bills, and then hit the arm cross on them. God, what a G that dude is, man. But hey, we passed up on him, and we're having to live with the consequences of our own terrible decision making. But CK, another thing that he mentioned in that call was the amount of off coverage that we play.
Right.
Do you think that's a matter of scheme, or is that a matter of us just playing to the talent that we have on the defensive side of the ball?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that I saw it a lot last year too. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what's going through the mind of Evero. I'll just leave it at this. It doesn't feel like he brings the amount of things to the table as a defensive coordinator as we're being sold on. And I don't mean that in a shit talky way. Like, it's just the reality of what I'm seeing with my own two eyes when he's out there, when our defense is out there. And we can't even really, I'm not even willing to subscribe to the idea that what else can you expect? He didn't, he has all these missing pieces and all that. Like, we legitimately have his pieces. Like, this was his, like, we have Josie Jewell. We have people that he has specifically asked for because he has a history with them as their defensive coordinator in Denver or other places. So I don't think I'm of the mind that this dude is still given a complete pass. We were praising him all last year because of numbers that were all absolutely
fool's gold.
Yeah, fool's gold. It was just inflated numbers. So I still am hesitant to give this guy much credit. Do I understand, and am I willing to at least have some grace when it comes to the fact that he is being dealt a shitty hand? Absolutely. But so is, Dave Canales. If you think about what he came into, his situation is 10 times worse than Evero, and Evero's defense right now seems to be the biggest, weakest link on this team.
He's got a part two.
Sorry, guys. Call number 2, Daryl from Winston-Salem. Sorry that went so long. But anyway, I was just going to say, Robert Saleh, he got fired from the Jets today. And him and Dave Canales have, I think, somewhat of a history together, I believe, with the Seahawks maybe. I could see maybe at the end of the year, if Saleh is willing to come to the Panthers, him coming in and being our defensive coordinator. And I believe the Jets run a 4-3, which is something I would love to see the Panthers go back to. And then the only other two things I wanted to say was Chuba Hubbard. I know he's a running back. I know a lot of people don't believe in paying running backs. We need to bring Chuba back after this year, unless he, even with Jonathan Brooks, like that would be an excellent 1-2. Let Miles Sanders go on. I think that those two together, could be really good if Jonathan Brooks pans out to be as advertised. And then the last thing I wanted to say was I'm just ready to have the next generation of Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly. Like, we don't have anybody on our team that you just look to and say, man, they are Carolina Panther through and through,
right.
Drafted, developed, and have, played at a high level, with maybe the exception like Derek Brown. But even Shaq Thompson, who's a lifelong Panther right now, all he's done in his career, regardless of how well or not, good or not good he's played, they've just always lost with him here. So it's like, not that it's his fault. I'm not saying that, but I'm just ready to have winners of that, that have that fire in their belly, that are ready to go, like the Cams, the Gregs, the Jonathan Stewarts, all these guys that just, when you think of them, you think of Carolina Panthers. So appreciate what you guys do. Continued prayers for Greg and his family. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate the call, Daryl. Chuba really, I mean, he's out there earning his stripes, man. Man, if you're gonna have a year like this, just do it in a contract year, baby.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is his year, man. This is his year to play big. You want to talk about Saleh?
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, there's a history there, or there is a. How about this? Is they have a relationship that goes back to Seattle. This is Dave Canales back in May when they were talking about joint practices with the Jets. Robert Saleh and I were quality control coaches together with the Seahawks. We have about a 13 or 14-year relationship. Also called him a close friend in the lead up to the practices in August. And now, is Saleh a good defensive coordinator? I'm not. We don't really know. He's not calling defensive plays for. He's not calling the defensive plays for the Jets. Not calling the offensive plays. But the Jets defense is cooking.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, look, is the idea that Evero is going to be here after this year is sort of far-fetched.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's especially if there is no turnaround whatsoever. There is no shot he's making it past this year. It's going to be Dave Canales is going to bring in his own guy. I think Evero, you know, many people are going to say he's going to be a scapegoat for this team, but you know, we've had a lot of scapegoats for this team, and right now the weakest link that we have, you can say quarterback all you want, but the weakest link we have is defense. There's just no way of arguing that when you see the amount of points we're giving up to every single team we play.
All right, let's go to Lou in Fort Myers.
Yo, it's Lou from Fort Myers. And yes, it's the same Fort Myers that's going to get hurt by the hurricane, but the hurricane ain't hitting me. I'm hitting the hurricane, bitch.
Oh, shit.
What Milton don't know about 13 rounds in the clip. But, yeah, if y'all want to send prayers, that's cool, but I don't need them. Y'all better pray for the hurricane. Don't pray for me, bitch. But,
I
came to, I don't want to say it, bro, but Dalton not hitting the same no more, bruh. It's like a little kid when you try like something new, like maybe like you finally moved on from chicken nuggets, right? Which was Bryce Young. And then you get pizza and you eat pizza, but now it's just like, now it's not pizza, it's pizza, you know? It went from Papa John's to Little Caesars, like, this is how I'm feeling about Andy Dalton, bro.
I don't think Papa
These
John's
injuries
hits anymore, bro.
If y'all want to talk about the injuries, bro, I've been said it's the strength and conditioning coaches. Because, like, 3 to 4 injuries, that's cool. You know, through a whole season, like 3 to 4 star players injured, that's cool. But it's almost like the damn whole roster hurt. Like, and you can say it's the turf, whatever, right? If it's a lot of leg injuries, if it's lower body injuries, that's from the turf. But, like, it's just injuries from all around, and that's just strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't remember there being mad injuries before we had the turf. Like, y'all need to, if y'all want to, I would do, like, comparisons, like, pre-turf and post-turf. Because this is freaking crazy, bro. Like, I think it's the strength and conditioning people, though. In my opinion, they getting them kids fresh out of trade school and, like, here you go. Our $1 million players, take care of them. Because, like, truth to God, like, why? Even Brian Burns said he didn't want to play to his fullest because he was scared of getting hurt. You got players that are holding back because they're scared to get hurt. And it's either one, the training staff, or two, that turf. But I'm really just starting to think it's the training staff because, yes, people get hurt. Getting hurt is part of the game. But each person is, like, not invulnerable to injuries, but they got strengths, right? What is going to happen to Jonathan Brooks when he gets out there? Already having.
Up here, you gotta go.
But like I said, like, this is my part 2, bro. But, like, Jonathan Brooks, the reason why we probably didn't draft that linebacker kid, because kid don't got no legs. Imagine if he came to play over here. He'd be in a wheelchair. We would have to roll him out every week to go make freaking tackles. Bro, it's always been like that. So far that I've seen it, we never had a really good, healthy season. And I don't know if you can look it up, but like the medical director, the training staff, the athletic training staff, I want to see if has it changed ever since Jerry Richardson. You know what I mean? Like, because there wasn't really like, you wasn't seeing that many injuries like before Tepper. Like, yes, there was injuries, but not injuries like this. This is crazy. 2 out of 3 star wide receivers hurt. Whole line was hurt. Like, Damian Lewis got hurt. Then now the center is hurt. I'm scared for Robert Hunt. That's my dog. Defense hurt. Brian Burns, bro, like Derek Brown, and it's all lower body injuries.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, they getting cracks in the ribs or whatever, back or neck problems. Is motherfuckers can't walk on that quicksand they putting out there, bro. It's Lou from Fort Myers, bro. Love Tony, love CK, shout out my dog, Greg, bro. You going through a tough time, bro. Shout out Greg, bro.
Yes, sir.
But shout out to everybody, Pickle, B from Stanford, everybody, man. I hope y'all take care, bro. Peace.
Peace. Keep pounding, Lou. A lot to go through in that call.
Yeah,
Which one do I want to put first?
I don't. There's just a lot of injuries.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot of injury. I mean, when it gets like this, everything is going to be questioned. Now, we did have a lot of questions with the strength and conditioning staff prior to Canales coming in.
I
I
have
don't
a
think
question.
those questions are answered by any means.
Do y'all remember the year that we implemented the turf? Because we used to be just grass, right?
I think it was 2019.
2019?
I think so.
So I found this list on Reddit. David Tepper bought the team in 2018.
It was either 2019 or 2020.
So over there, since then, the numbers have just been in decline. They've been in free fall. And listen, I think me and CK disagree with this. I think the turf does play a part of it. I think not even just turf, but the Panthers turf, I think plays a real part of it.
That's an argument that I would be willing to hear, is how much is our turf different than other turf that's out there.
Yeah.
You don't really hear players differentiate between turf and, like, you hear like JJ Watt talk about turf. He talks about turf as a whole. Like, he says turf in general is not good. But
we did hear, remember MetLife, speaking of the Jets, and then they had that, and there was one 49ers game where 3 guys had ACL injuries or something like that. I think if a lot of people should, or one thing is first, they're going to have, like, I don't trust any study anymore.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I won't say I don't trust any study. That's not fair. I think that for every conclusion you want, you can find a study that supports it. I heard Kamala Harris talking about her economic plan or whatever, and it was like all of these advisors say that that the credits you want to give or whatever are going to add whatever $1 trillion to, it was a 60 Minutes interview, like add whatever $1 trillion to the stuff. And she was like, I mean, she didn't really answer, and I don't really care.
She never answers the question.
I don't have a dog in this. I have no dog in this fight. But it was like, well, I've got advisors that tell me that it's great. You know, I mean, like, it's like, so we can find an economist that will tell you like all of these different things, and I'm sure that we can find studies that support the turf numbers and don't support the turf numbers. So that's all I got to say on it.
I mean, I hear you. I'm just choosing to believe the players, man. I remember after that Detroit Lions game in what was it, 2020
Aiden
or
Hutchinson
2021?
was talking
Yeah,
bad.
they were all talking about how terrible the turf was. So I don't know. I
But the
think
players like grass. The players like grass, and that's clear. And I think the way to probably evaluate so it's just like there are injuries that are happening because it's football, right? There are injuries. If you get an ankle rolled up on you, you do something like this, like the torn biceps isn't the turf. Right. But I think you would probably start looking at non-contact injuries, guys just running. Remember when Odell Beckham tore his, it's like cutting, maybe your foot gets, look, the players like grass. Look, the soccer players demand grass in certain leagues. It's just, I mean,
that's another good point that we don't pinpoint enough. All of these countries that love soccer to their core and they're only playing on grass, I'm pretty sure they've got it figured out. That it's better to play on, better to run on, better to fall on. I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's to me, it's pretty, like, I don't even need studies. Just like you were saying, everyone will have a study to verify whatever bullshit.
Right.
They
want to prescribe. Yeah.
Right. They're all going to be able to find their own thing. So, I mean, to me, that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to believe the players should play on it. And soccer being the most popular sport all over the world, they almost always play on grass.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, let's go to the next call.
What's going on, C3? The CPG. Long-time viewer and supporter.
Thank you.
Shout out, Tony, Cody, everybody on the panel. I just wanted to say, man, I was talking about this with a friend today. Like, all of our problems really go back to when Tepper bought the team. He gave Ron Rivera, Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly in the game 2 years. Cam was hurt both years. And you got to think there's no way he gets hurt 3 years in a row, because he didn't. He went to New England, he played all year.
Right.
But my thing is, you can't just blow up the team, shove 5, 6, 7, 8 different quarterbacks in there, blow up the team again, and then think, like, just sit there scratching your head like, why is this not working? It's not working because when Richardson was here, yeah, we had some bad years. Like, we had one bad year in the transition from Jake Delhomme to Cam Newton. Even though the last year we had Jake in 2009 was not that good of a year, it was watchable compared to the last several years with David Tepper because we had pieces in place. Like 2010, we were not a good team. But it wasn't the entire team. We didn't have a quarterback. We had some other pieces, but our main problem was we had no quarterback. We got Cam. He lit up the league, won Rookie of the Year. He had a great offensive line, Jordan Gross, Travell Wharton, Ryan Khalil in the gang. He had Jeremy Shockey, Greg Olsen, Steve Smith, D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart. He had all of these people. And then we go and get Luke Kuechly next year and keep building on that. And we eventually make, 3 playoff runs. The last one, actually 4 if you count 2017, but 3 in a row, counting that Super Bowl run in 2015. David Tepper doesn't understand this, but most of the players we had when we got Cam and up to the Super Bowl, those were players we drafted when Jake Delhomme was the quarterback. Those are guys we built up long-term for the team. We're not doing that anymore. We'll draft a guy, and within 3 to 4 years, he's not even on the team anymore. We just give up on him. It's absolutely crazy to me that David Tepper can't understand this, and I hope Dan Morgan is doing his thing and doesn't let us down. But sometimes it takes a while, and as much as it hurts to say this, we need to just rebuild on that front, like build up some young guys. So that eventually when we get the right guy under center, we can see our progression and make some noise and everything we did when Jerry Richardson used to be the owner, man. It's not that complicated, but David Tepper is just a super impatient person, and you cannot be an impatient person running in an.
Let me see. He's got a couple more seconds on the call.
What's up, guys? It's CPG again. I got cut off at the end there. I just wanted to say it's just not how it works in the NFL. You can't be impatient. You will never be a good team. Look at the Browns, who have never been to a Super Bowl as long as they've been a team, way longer than the Panthers. Being impatient will never get you anywhere in this league, and that's all I got to say. Hopefully we can get moving in the right direction. We've got to stop giving up on a lot of these young guys unless it's just very clear they're not good at professional football. Anyways, keep pounding, guys, and go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Good call.
Patience. Patience is something that we all need, but we don't have an abundance of.
Yeah,
Amen.
and it's not in the NFL. There's not a lot of it. But, I mean, the caller's right about a lot of this. Is like a lot of these mistakes have just been compounded over the years.
And again, I don't hate it. I'll do it as many times as I need to bring it back to the quarterback. But it's also seeing how many of these other teams that have been in the doldrums forever are now starting to look good. Like, people forget how bad the Texans were right before C.J. Stroud was there. The Commanders have been a dumpster fire ever since they were a different team name, 2 different team names ago. Jaden Daniels looks incredible now for that team. Caleb Williams, like we were talking about last Sunday, Tony, has already broken like every Bears record that there is in that entire franchise. So all of those things that compound on top of each other, and he mentions all the players that always end up leaving our team. Let's be real. Chuba Hubbard and Brady Christiansen, there's a real scenario that both of those guys are not Panthers next year.
Yeah.
And good on them. I would love to have them here, but it's like, why would you want to be when you can go to other more competent football
when
teams?
you have the likes of Frankie Louvu and everybody else going and leaving and having a fantastic year, like considered one of the best defensive players in the league right now.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's go to another call.
Hey.
Oh, shit.
You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka! Well, what's Gucci with my boys? What's good with my white Italian brother? What's good with you, G?
Bro?
What's good,
Love you,
CK?
baby.
What's good, Mr. Lack? Let's get into it. I kept quiet. I've been on this hush. Oh, before we get into all that, man, hey, prayers go out to Florida, man, and just anyone that's being hit by any natural disaster, hurricane, Asford, you boys out there, if y'all got family out there, man, prayers out to you guys, man. And whoever's about to get hit with this hurricane, man, may God be with y'all, man. For real, man. That's just no joke, man. I've been in plenty of hurricanes, man, and that's just no joke, man. So may God be with y'all, man, and prayers out to you and your loved ones, man. Back to this fucking bum ass fucking team, bro. I had to watch DJ Moore, a player that I love, whoop our ass on Sunday. And it's just like, I remember when Mr. Agent 89 wore that Baltimore uniform and he whooped our ass, right? But it was nothing like the ass whooping DJ Moore just fucking gave us. And then they show a view of David Tepper got his fucking feet kicked up, right? Sipping on his fucking little mimosa with the fucking cherry hanging out. Man, you son of a bitch. You fucking kidding me, bruh? The curse of Cam Newton, we will forever be fucking cursed because of that Cam Newton shit. The way we treated Cam Newton, man, we will never fucking get over that shit, bruh. This defense is the worst defense I've ever fucking seen in Carolina Panthers history. I'm going to say it again. I've been a fan my entire life. This is the worst Carolina Panther defense in Carolina Panther history. I thought I was going to watch a number one QB versus a number one fucking QB. I mean, we gotta still fucking rebuild, boys. And the fact that we're fucking developing a 36-year-old fucking man that was fucking drafted in 2011, man, that's fucking some fuck shit, man. JJ was 8 in 2011. JJ, our boy from C3, man. I got another fucking call, dog. I'm calling back.
Yep, here we go. Here he is.
The process that we are doing is your boy G, baby. The process that we are fucking, that Dave Canales has brought to the fucking Carolina Panthers is a complete bunch of bullshit, man. And I was on the Dave Canales train, and I'm still gonna fucking support him. But, bro, you gotta get with the fucking program, man, because that's some fucking fuck shit, dog. The fuck are we doing developing a 36-year-old fucking man? That's been on multiple teams. That makes no fucking sense. We're supposed to be developing our young fucking QB, bro. I don't give a fuck. That's bullshit, man. Jesus. And that's why that's one thing Carolina has never been able to do throughout the years is develop fucking talent. Yeah. And I'm fucking sick of these fucking scouts going to fucking South Carolina and picking up these fucking bum-ass Gamecocks, dog. I'm sick of that shit.
I hear that shit.
Like, what the fuck is going on? That the entire fucking team is hurt, bruh. Like, 70% of the defense is hurt. You want to know why? It's because we lollygagged through the entire offseason, not playing no players during the preseason, fucking just sipping mimosas. I don't know what the fuck they did this entire offseason, bro, but you can't just kick back, bro. And then as soon as week one comes, let's go full go against professional athletes that been going full go the entire fucking offseason and training camp. The fuck? Dave Canales? The fuck is that? Some rookie ass shit. And that's why we continue to see these fucking injury after injury. Shaq Thompson, get the fuck out of Carolina. Don't get me started on you son of a fucking bitch over here been stealing fucking money from fucking Carolina for years, nigga. All you are is an over-athletic motherfucker that fucking switched fucking position. As soon as you fucking got here, you fucking soaked up. Well, I thought you soaked up the fucking information from fucking Luke and TD, but you didn't even fucking do that, bro. Oh, don't get me started on fucking Shaq Thompson, bro. That motherfucker makes my fucking blood boil, nigga. So much fucking I gotta say about this fucking team, bro. The season's over. The season's fucking over. It's over. The only thing we need to be doing is fucking acquiring fucking draft picks and selling fucking assets and building around fucking Bryce Young. Point blank period, bruh. Ugh. Like, I don't know how I've never seen a Carolina Panthers team this fucking injured. Like, how? And I throw away this fucking 3-4 fucking defense and get a coach in here that runs a fucking 4-3, goddammit, and learn how to stop the fucking run, bro. It's G, baby, man. If I got a chance to make another fucking call back. But I'm fucking hot. Shout out to my white Italian fucking brother for letting me call in this many fucking times, man.
All right, man.
G, baby.
Don't ever say he doesn't bring the heat.
No, dude, he always does. I agree with a lot, and I disagree with a lot. First part I agree with. Enough of these Gamecocks, man. Done with it. We need to get some more Clemson players. That's what I think, truly. And then number 2. And G, you know, this is where I'm going with this, bro. To me, it wasn't about developing a 36-year-old Andy Dalton, bro. It wasn't about that at all. It was about giving the Panthers the best chance to win, because there was almost no chance of winning with Bryce Young under center, bro. I know you want to develop him. I know you're a Bryce Young truther. G-Baby literally took Bryce Young with his first pick in the fantasy draft that we did. And, dude, like, he loves that guy. He was a big believer in him. But I've seen enough, man. I've seen enough, and I don't want to see no more, bro. The future is not Bryce. If you want to talk about some of these other quarterbacks that are draftable coming up, yeah, let's do that, man. But, dude, I'm done with the whole Bryce scenario, man. We're not building around him for the future, man. We need talent. He doesn't have enough talent.
Let's go to Kyle and Charlotte.
What's up, C3 Nation? This is C3 910 Kyle, Charlotte Sports One. I just wanted to call in. I've been watching the show all night. I just wanted to call in here at the tail end just because I wanted to throw out there. Shout out to everybody that called in tonight and was a part of the show and everybody in the chat, man. We had a great show tonight. Tony, CK, Cody, keep pounding, man. Thanks for everything y'all do. I know it's not easy to do a show and talk about this all week and do shows and watch the suck that we've been watching. It's not easy. So, I mean, shout out to y'all and shout out to everybody that's here hanging out with us. Keep pounding.
Man, appreciate it, man. Big part of the Friday free-for-all. Helped me get through it without you, Cody.
Say that one more time.
Kyle was big.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big part of the Friday free-for-all culture. Yep. Really big help in me getting awesome. Through that show without you. All right. Those are all the calls for right now. What else we got to talk about and power through real quick, and then we can ice some fools up.
Yeah, man. So did you want to talk about this? Well, let's see. So let's talk about the Dan Morgan thing.
Well, this kind of goes to the patience thing. The caller that said have patience. I like this tweet today, and somehow I don't know why, but I guess this guy was at Lucas A official _ he was responding to people, I guess, Dan Morgan getting heat for this team and the state of the team right here. And he tweeted this. I just like, he said, Dan Morgan slowly undoing every mistake Scott Fitterer made. You can already see some of the results. Top 10 O-line, turned burnt toast into Deontay and Mike Jackson, drafted Trevin Wallace and XL, got his picks in all 7 rounds in the upcoming draft. Yeah, I mean, look, you're gonna have to give Dan Morgan time. Look, I'm not ready to go out there and just crown down Dan Morgan as an awesome GM. He shouldn't be completely free of, I don't know if blame's the right word. Exonerated from the previous regime as he was part of it.
Yeah.
Bryce Young picked part of it, whether or not how much we don't truly know or anything. But look, is Dan Morgan, he's going to have there's a lot to fix. We'll see what he does with Deontay. I mean, I expect Deontay Johnson to be traded now by the
our best weapon on the team. You think they'll just render the offense completely useless by trading?
Well, I just don't know if the Carolina Panthers are going to have the funds to pay him in the offseason. If you can't pay him in the offseason, and if they're not if we don't just go ahead and work out a deal by the trade deadline, I think you need to really you need to think about it. You need to consider it. You need to see what you can get offered. And then I know we've got a lot of draft picks, but I mean, if we had 12 draft picks, I'm still just trying to take 6 players and just take the other 6 and find ways to make more out of them, make more value out of them in a way.
Yeah. How much would you expect in a trade for Deontay Johnson?
I think to a team that's in need of a wide receiver.
Second round.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Second round player, maybe not a high second. Yeah, I would say second.
And that would mean that
I don't think you can get more than that because they're going to have to sign them or use them as just a rental.
Yeah, I mean,
a second round pick is valuable though, dude.
Absolutely. And we would have 3 of them? Or no, we would have 2.
Yeah.
We got a second round pick back as a result of us moving some pieces around. I wouldn't mind it, dude. I mean, I said this with
I like Deontay a lot though. So look,
I do too.
Not the greatest game in the last week. You can even say the week before we discussed the drops in that game against Cincinnati. But he is, I don't know if he's he's a good player though. He's a good player. Yeah. He would do good on the Chiefs right now, I'll tell you that.
Oh, absolutely. And there, the Chiefs could use him. Buffalo Bills could use him.
Yeah.
There are some teams that could use his services.
Both AFC teams, so you don't have to feel bad about that.
It just sucks because there's players on this team that I would like to see be a part of the future. I would like to see Chuba Hubbard be a part of the future. Don't know if he will. I would like to see Brady Christiansen be a part of the future. Don't know if he will. I would like to see Deontay Johnson as a part of the future. Again, I don't know if he will. And it's such a tall order for fans to see us pay players on this current team when it's so bad, and it's been so bad.
I tell you, Chuba will be more affordable than Deontay Johnson will just because of the position.
I agree. Yeah, and I would still want to try and keep Chuba here.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Deontay Johnson, so I hope I think the Carolina Panthers might need to start thinking like that. If we're going to we need to reach a deal with this guy before the trade deadline, because if we can't reach the deal now, we're not going to be able to reach it in the offseason. More than likely. I mean, it doesn't, unless you're just in love with them, that you're going to pay.
Right.
And I don't know how any player could be any player that can get you value. I would say I would be happier if the Panthers traded Deontay Johnson than if they traded Bryce Young, and not happy because I like Deontay Johnson. I want to see it, but getting a second is a good thing. Getting a fifth, not as valuable. So go ahead, keep cooking, Chef Dan Boer RD.
Yes, sir.
All right, what else we got?
I believe that's it, man. So we talked about.
We did Jalen Coker. We did.
We did this. Yeah. So let's talk about this Falcons matchup a little bit.
Carolina Panthers are 6.5-point dogs. Over under is 47.5. I'm taking Atlanta on the points here, dude. I mean, I think they could beat the Panthers by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Kev made a good point that a lot of teams are putting up a lot of points on Atlanta.
Yeah, maybe. No, I mean,
are we back to the mindset that every game that we're going to play this year, we're just going to get shellacked?
I don't know how we can't think that right now with the way the injuries happen to the offensive line.
Yeah.
I think the hope we had, the ray of hope, was that the offense was going to be prevalent enough to keep you in the game. But I think even if we're talking about how the Panthers got away from the run, which I still don't think they necessarily did as much as people are saying because of the circumstances of the game. But I think there also one of the things that was lending towards that is that once a team starts scoring against Carolina, it's over, bro.
Yeah. I mean, if we can't keep up with the scoring, which is right now, I mean, there's no evidence that supports us being able to just consistently score touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, if our defense can't stop it, if we're playing from behind and we have to become one-dimensional, it's game over.
If Carolina wins this week and the Saints win, we're 1 game out of the division again.
Right.
Yeah, dude, I know everybody doesn't feel it, but football still matters for us right now. You might not think that we're going to go anywhere and do anything, but hey, man, any given Sunday, I don't know. It just depends on how this offense looks. And 2 interesting battle of the running backs, right? Bijan Robinson hasn't been getting a lot of touches or carries in that offense. And to the point where a lot of people have been wondering about that, why he's not getting more. And Chuba Hubbard is another running back in this game who has the potential to do some damage. To me, it's almost like a battle of what running back gets going first.
Interesting here. 2 things. What do you think about the Eagles releasing Devin White? Wallace and White?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know why he was released.
1-year deal, not probably a big part. Yeah, I don't know, but former Pro Bowler, played in Tampa last year, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that Hassan Reddick was still holding out.
Oh yeah.
No. There is something that we didn't talk about that we have to. Hang on. I know it's in here. Yeah, here we go. Hang on. So Jadeveon Clowney, he's been injured and hurt. The Panthers Go and get Shaq Lawson. Yeah, we almost didn't talk about this. Shaq Lawson, former Clemson player, former first-round pick. He's been around the NFL, and he's done some good things in his career. He's not like a super sack getter,
right?
But dude, he's a good player. He sets a physical edge, and I really think that he might be able to help us out more than definitely more than a DJ Wanham is, or definitely more than a Marquise Haynes, who we picked up again 4 years after he's been here. So
he was a big prospect back in 2016.
Yeah, he really
wasn't he a first round pick by Buffalo?
Yeah, he was.
Muscles
not
marinara.
A ton of sack production each and every year. His most was 6.5, but I don't know, man. He might be able to do some damage for us.
Man, it can't hurt at this point. Neither of those guys can. Muscle Marinara said he likes dad jokes. All right. I love, this is off topic, I love those two guys that sit out. Well, they sit on the pier and drink coffee and make these dad jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. But guy said today, he said, my wife passed out on the luggage carousel. She finally came around. Whoa.
So I'm icing you up, dog.
I like this. All right.
I heard another joke this week, but it might be too dirty.
Okay. A couple of news and notes around the league. Derek Carr expected to miss time with oblique injury. And Drake May starting over Jacoby Brissett this week.
Yeah. And by the way, if he balls out, another player the Panthers potentially could have had from Charlotte, North Carolina, but they sat him for a little while, and now they're gonna get to see.
Speaking of, you were talking about the complete team earlier, CK.
Yeah.
Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes said people are starting to realize that our defense is playing their tail off. Patrick Mahomes giving them credit. Going on, and Nico Collins week to week after a hamstring injury.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, did you see Jabril Peppers got arrested for assault and cocaine?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
The chat wants me to tell my joke. Should I tell it?
Your call.
What's the difference between puberty and a Catholic priest?
Oh God.
Puberty waits until they're a teenager before they come on their face. Oh, I like it. It made me giggle.
All right. Let's see. Picks. I guess we can do picks this week.
Don't cancel me, chat. Y'all made me do it.
Radler's gonna. What do you mean may start? Radler's gonna start. Who else is gonna start there? What is NFL? What are we? Week 6? Or week 5?
No, we are 6.
6? No, yeah, week 6 schedule. All right, I'm picking Atlanta. You guys got anything on that? Anybody else picking the Panthers in this week against? Now, I do like some people saying trap game. And this is kind of like a stupid game like that happens in the NFL where the Panthers,
Yeah, and dude, we're always good for a 1-1 with Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
okay. Whatever. I'm picking the Falcons.
Yeah.
No,
the Falcons.
25 game, by the way.
No, I'm taking the Panthers.
So we're gonna have a later post game show. 4:25.
Oh, what time is it?
4:25 game. So we'll have.
Dude, why the hell do we have to?
Because they're not giving us any. We have 2. It's back to back. By the way, we have another one next week.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. See who else is playing. Bucks Saints. Bucks. Bucks for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tampa. I like Tampa.
Yeah, I have no reason to go against Tampa at this point, especially.
And now that Derek Carr is hurt, they're probably going to have to play Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
God,
well, did I tell you guys what happened to me watching when it came to the Bucks Falcons game last week? Was it Monday night game? No, it was a Thursday night game.
Mm-mm.
Thursday. And not what happened to me. It was So the final possessions of the game, you're going down within the last 3 minutes of the game. The guy drops the pass. I think I did tell you guys this in the post game show. The guy, like, I turned the game off because once.
Oh yeah.
I guess they had the pick on the 4th and 15, and then somehow I woke up the next day and the damn Falcons won the game.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to ice some fools up and get out of here, then, guys?
Yep.
Don't forget, go to pull the slideshow back up and show them the coffee mug. No coffee mugs purchased in the last month. No t-shirts. You can only use PayPal now because Stripe, we got an issue with Stripe, so sorry about that. You can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You click the gear tab. Gear, like, is in the gear you wear, stuff that we sell. You can get the C3 Panthers Podcast t-shirt. You can get the C3 Panthers Podcast mug. We also have the G-Baby You Make Me Fucking Sick t-shirt and the Panther Pickle Shut the Hell Up. I haven't seen Panther Pickle here tonight. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, he went to bed early. He was in the chat room earlier.
Yeah, man, it's misery. So we understand it. So help support us in those ways. Thank you for all the people that super chatted tonight. Thank you for the C3 super fans. Thank you for the callers and your time to the people that chat and the people that I didn't get the post game show up till today. I kind of had some Sunday night went rough for me after that loss. I just went off the deep end of life on Sunday night, and it took a full 24 hours
to recover,
to get back on my feet, literally. And let's say some fools up and get out of here, Cody.
Let's do it. The longest running segment on the longest running podcast. Toughen up, get your act together. Ice some fools up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone ice up, toughen up to get it together. Everyone's fair game, from kids in Oklahoma to our friends and family to people that we don't like, and always tip of the cap to nods of people almost dying on the internet. I've got a few quick ones tonight, so we can back and forth if you got multiple ones.
Yeah, I've got 3.
Okay, well, I'll start off with this. I'll put the story up because it's kind of fun just reading the headline. Not that cool, but like this. California man finds he's been paying his neighbor's electric bill for 15 years.
What?
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
Oh, it's kind of crazy. And you know who I'm icing up is the utility company. California man realized he had inadvertently been paying his neighbor's electricity bill for the last 15 years. Lives between San Francisco and Sacramento. He said, I've been trying to conserve electricity to lower my costs because it was getting really expensive. Eventually complained to the local utility that sent out a worker to investigate. I thought there was a leak or someone stealing my electricity on the meter or was faulty or something, the guy said. P&G discovered that Wilson's meter was linked to his neighbor's apartment, not his own apartment. So they've been paying inverted bills. And records suggested that he'd been doing so through since 2009. He believes he's been doing it through 2006. I'm icing up the utility company because it just says P&E apologized. The meter that was billing, but we're sorry. Get this man some money back. I don't think
we don't know. He said the bills were inverted, so he could have actually been on the receiving end of a better situation, to be fair.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up if his neighbor was just running everything in the house all the time. And he was trying to conserve and turn lights off.
That's what it sounds like. He's like, and these guys are just over there with the AC on freaking 60. He got his on OnlyFans.
So I guess I'll say, hey, do you want to go, or you want me to go?
No, go ahead, man.
So this one is dedicated towards any and all nurses. Make sure that you know what your patient is asking for when he asks for it.
I used to work as a student nurse at a hospital. I had this patient who had to stay overnight because he had a severe asthma attack. He had to wear an oxygen mask over his mouth and nose. My job was to give him a sponge bath, so I did. While I was giving him a sponge bath, he mumbled something from behind his mask. He said, "Nurse, are my testicles black?" I was a little bit embarrassed because I didn't know how to answer that question, and I was only there to wash his upper body and feet. So I just ignored the question and I continued to wash him. Like 10 minutes later, he struggled to ask me again. He said, "Nurse, please check for me. Are my testicles black?" I was concerned that he might elevate his blood pressure and his heart rate by worrying about his testicles. So I gently raised his gown. I was holding his manhood in one hand and his testicles in my other hand. I looked very close at his private area, and then I said, "There is nothing wrong with them, sir. They look fine." He then slowly starts to pull off his oxygen mask. He said, "Thank you so much. That was wonderful, but listen very, very close." He looked up at me, and then he started talking very slowly. He said, "Are my test results back?"
Do you think that's real? I hope it's real.
It's real enough for me.
Yeah, dude, that seems like something.
Oh, I heard that another dad joke. Oh no, so it was something like. Anyway, we'll do. Keep. All right. Here's my next one. This one really is fucking a terrible story, and should be. I mean, not surprising that it's from Arkansas. Couple allegedly tried to sell their baby for $1,000 in beer. Couple is accused of trying to sell their 2-month-old baby at a campground for beer and $1,000. Ice up to that girl.
Damn.
Actually, you know what? They should have bought the baby just to save that baby from them fuck up parents.
Yeah. So, you want me to go again? So
yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is about a politician, but it is not political. And I have iced up Donald Trump before, but I have to ice up Kamala Harris. Watching her try to use a shovel. Like you can just tell she's never ever had to do anything like that before. Her husband looks like he's not doing much better either. Yeah, ice up to me. That's just I just thought that was silly and stupid looking. My final one, a little bit shorter, but fun nonetheless. Ice up to daughters.
You know Matt, right?
Yeah, I know
he
Matt.
Follows you.
So that's a daughter and her dad at a tailgate for the Cardinals.
That's my buddy.
Oh my God, I love him. Tell him I want to get with him too.
Good Lord. So
I love Matt Rice.
That's my daughter. What do I got?
Great comedian.
You got any more crushes you want to holler at? Joe Burrow?
James Conner, Joe Burrow. Who else we got in there? Any big black linebacker?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, I love them all.
Come on.
So ice up that poor dad.
Oh my
God. My next ice up pick goes to man in Austria. Man amputates penis with an axe after consuming mushrooms.
Oh,
he's gonna need some real ice for that one. And this one's fun. Man accused of stealing ambulance to drive to stolen car court hearing. All right, and the last one is this, and I'm telling you, look away if you don't. All right, I've iced up mosquitoes before. Look away if this is my back. I went outside for 5 minutes with no shirt on last night. Like I walked out for less than 5 minutes outside. This is my fucking back, dude.
Oh God,
it's fucking mutilated,
dude.
I think I got smallpox. I definitely have West Nile virus. Yeah, that's just my back. I have like 2 on my arm. Like it's like, jeez. I've been fucking rubbing on this chair like all crazy. Oh my God. Miserable. Ice up. Fuck mosquitoes right now. And look, it's only rained for fucking 4 months in North Carolina. So that's it.
Yeah.
All right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. CK, you don't have an ice up pick, right? We're not.
No, you're good.
All right. Olive oil, Kristen Butler. Olive oil, the 100% home remedy for all Italians, for anything. All right. Thanks for you guys' support. Great show. Cody Light, take us out of here.
C3 Nation. Until next time, keep pounding.